Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today I will be big box store plant shopping at the Lowe's off of Highway 121 in McKinney, Texas. This is going to be a night shopping video as it's easier for me to shop and look at some plants during the evening when there's not as many people shopping. As always, please make sure you're hitting the like button for this video. And if you like 1 hour daily plant shopping content, please subscribe to my channel. Grow Fold, and make sure that you hit the notification bell for all notifications when I upload new content, which is pretty much daily. But as you guys can see right over here, they've got tons of plants, and this one right here are a bunch of actually knockout roses. These roses are very easy to grow outdoors. They require a lot of sun, and like I've said in all of my previous videos, roses need to not be watered from the top. You want to water at the base of the plant so it prevents your the plant from getting any type of fungal diseases. But this Lowe's always remains super full. Really love all the hanging baskets, and they just have tons and tons of plants on the outdoor part as well as the indoor outdoor part, if that makes any sense. They've just got a surplus of plants. This is the reason why I like to go to this particular Lowe's. And when you go plant shopping, you can really take your time and really look at all of the plants. I've been doing a lot of plant shopping videos late at night because, number one, it's easier for me to get to a plant shopping tour when it is at night, and number two, having a full-time job, I just come out of my job and then go straight into filming plant content for you guys. So hopefully you guys like this video. And you can see here, this is actually a plant that I'm interested in growing. It's that Proven Winners plant. I really love the yellow variegation. And what do you have to say about all of these gorgeous petunias? I love the lavender and then the pastel yellow combination. That's a really good color. You know, they're opposite sides of the color wheel and complementary colors. So I haven't really been growing a lot of petunias in my collection, although every time I go plant shopping, I see a bunch of petunias. And then we're going to see what else they have over here. It looks like they have some caladiums tucked in the background. I always call caladiums, and this is only for $6.98. I always call caladiums the more colorful version of an alocasia. Really like the look of caladiums, and I am curious to really see if anybody has grown caladiums in their own home as far as like a house plant. I am thinking about trying to grow them indoors, but we will see. Right now I have 3 caladiums growing in my front patio garden alongside with all of my coleus. So if you haven't been watching my videos or you're new to my channel for the first time watching this, I have this caladium and coleus obsession. So I've been trying to collect both plants. I have way more coleus than caladiums. I only have 3, but I want to get more varieties because I like red plants, pink plants, and caladiums really lend itself to that color. And then over here, we've got a bunch of mandevilla flowers. You already know about mandevilla flowers just popping up all over big box stores, especially during the warmer months, and summer is just around the corner. And then you can see here, lots of alocasia as well. My alocasias are doing okay. I have to be better at watering, and I have been talking about how I have been very inconsistent with my watering for my plants, which has led to some of my plants declining in health. I'm really trying to figure out how to balance a very busy schedule. Now that I'm doing consistent YouTube videos and plus having a 10-hour work day, it is quite a bit. So, you know, for those that do watch my channel, I really appreciate you really rewarding my efforts to provide daily plant content. And for those that have just tuned in, if you've never been to a live premiere chat and you're watching this live, please say hello to us on the live premiere chat. The plant foldies, which is what I call my viewers and subscribers, are growing, and our community is really fun. But as you can see here, I've just taken a little bit more time to look at the outdoor part of the this Lowe's, and we're gonna just pan over here and see what we have available as in terms of the indoor house plants. I frequent this Lowe's just because I've seen this Lowe's actually have full pallets of plants that they haven't unloaded yet, and I've been able to find some really nice healthy plants. You know, when you go big box store plant shopping, sometimes you get lucky and you find the staff just unloading plants right from the pallet, which means the house plants or the indoor plants are going to be fresh. They're going to be the healthiest they will be, and you know, you get to get the full selection of what plants you want. But as you can see here, this particular Lowe's is just just got so many plants that they've got to have extra shelves to house some of these plants. They've got some massive plants like bird of paradise and ficus lyrata. And we're gonna go outdoors first to see what kind of plant finds we have. Again, I love plant shopping at night because I pretty much have the outdoor section to myself. I don't have to dodge people, and for some reason, it's just a lot more peaceful when I'm shopping at night. I get this little plant therapy where I can either go plant window shopping or actually fill up my basket and buy a bunch of plants that I probably should not take at home. But you can see right here, this is a hanging basket of dark mystery Pilea. Really love this as well. I love Pilea plants. I've got a Pilea Pan Am and a Pilea aluminum plant, but this one is a hanging basket by Costa Farms for $20.98. Really love the look at that. And then I need to get this. So this is for $20.84. This is a peperomia teardrop, and look at how full this is. Like literally, there are so many plants in this particular hanging basket. Sometimes it can get a little bit leggy, and I said, you know, not actually I said Pilea. This is actually a peperomia teardrop. And what I really like about this particular plant is it can get really bushy. It's easy to propagate. You just need to take cuttings, and it actually encourages more growth when you propagate it. So that's the thing about certain plants, especially those trailing plants. You really need to pinch it back or cut it back in order for it to promote more growth. Otherwise, it gets super leggy. You know, other plants that are similar to that would be like Tradescanthia, obviously Pilea plants, just plants that will get very leggy. And then this is one that is a little bit notorious for that. So this peperomia teardrop, love that. I also like the variegated form, but the green form is really nice as well. This is for $20.84 by Costa Farms Exotic Angels. You know, Costa Farms has been sending out a lot of hanging baskets, and I don't necessarily have a lot of hanging baskets in my home. I don't really like drilling holes on my ceiling, but I may eventually get more, so we'll see. But you can see right over here, we've got some impatience in a hanging basket, and we've got some more hanging basket plants over here, but I definitely want to walk around and see what else we have available at this outdoor section. I will say that this particular Lowe's is super full all the time, and I really appreciate their efforts to keep things stocked. It makes us be able to find plants that we may not necessarily find at other big box stores. And you can see right here, it's super peaceful because there's nobody here except me shopping. And you can see right over here, this is a really cool looking begonia plant. Really like the texture of the leaf, and this is for $39.98. I also love the yellow blooms of the begonia. You know, this year didn't really know that begonias were also grown for their blooms. I thought begonias were really just a foliage plant that you grew indoors. Little did I know that they were actually grown as well for like landscapes, for flower gardens, and for container gardens as well. And then over here, we've got some holly fern and just assorted types of fern. I like the look of a holly fern. I've seen full baskets grown indoors, and this one is for $6.98. It is a perennial. So that's the thing about me featuring a lot of these outdoor plants. I know most of you guys will cater to the indoor household tropical plants, you know, those aroids, but there is something to be said about these outdoor plants as well, like this creeping Jenny hanging basket. I really like the look of it. This is a plant that you can grow indoors. The only thing is with these outdoor plants, or predominantly outdoor plants, if you're going to grow them indoors, a couple of things that you have to factor in is, number one, lighting conditions. You definitely want to give them a lot more light in order for them to really do well indoors. And then number two, humidity levels. Some plants that grow outdoors need a little bit more humidity to keep spider mites at bay. I feel like a lot of these outdoor plants, when brought indoors, get a little bit more compromised, which means that spider mites or other types of pests are more prone to attack them. That's just my opinion, and actually my experience as well. I can't say that about Hydra Helix or the Hedera Helix English Ivy. Now, if you're new to my channel, I pronounce Hedera Helix that way. It is a running joke by the Grow Folds plant folding community, so I hopefully don't scare you guys. But to go back to like Hedera Helix English Ivy are really meant to grow outdoors, but for some reason they are marketed as an indoor house plant. And then over here, Fatsa japonica or Japanese Aurelia. I love Japanese Aurelia. I love the large leaves. I love the leaf shape. Now, grown outdoors, especially in certain growing zones, this can be a perennial. And for those that don't know what a perennial means, it means that you can grow a plant in your landscape for an entire growing season from spring, summer, fall. They will die off in the winter and they will return back in the spring. So Japanese Aurelia can do that in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at. And I have one variegated Japanese Aurelia. It's the camouflage version. And then over here, as we look at this beautiful Tradescanthia in a hanging basket. So I see Costa Farms actually offering this for $20.84. This one I think is a Lowe's version for $19.84. Look at that full hanging basket of Tradescanthia burgundy. Now again, with Tradescanthia, you definitely have to pinch these back, cut them back in order for them to remain full and not leggy. This plant tends to get leggy very quickly, but you know what you could do with the cuttings is you can actually put them in water and they will root within a week. It is a very fast plant that will root in water. It's a really fun plant to propagate and share, but I'm going to pan over here and just show you all of the other plants that they have available in the outdoor section. And then I will go back inside to show you the indoor house plants, but you never know, there might be some really cool plant finds that I will find tonight. And over here, we've got an assortment of different types of succulents and cactus. These are by Oasis Plant. I did buy a couple of succulents I've added to my collection. So I have a variegated jade plant that I made into a bonsai. I have an Aeonium plant that I actually split up into 4 pieces. So you'll see that, and 4 different planters. But you can see here, what a cool looking barrel cactus for $12.98. Very prickly. I don't have any cactus in my collection. I just have a couple of succulents. I am starting to get into succulents as well. And you can see this one is the hen and chicks cold resistant type succulent right here. This is for $6.98. This is really cool because you can see that it's got some webbing on its actual leaves. You know, with succulents, you don't really want to overwater it. If you're going to grow succulents, full sun would be great, lots of bright light, and they will do fine. You definitely don't want to overwater them because that's how they will get root rot. And the cool thing about succulents is that they can be propagated easily. You can do it from like cuttings as well as just taking a piece of their leaf and sticking it on top of some soil and just misting it. And then right over here for $24.98 is another type of a succulent right here. This is an Echeveria. This is a large Echeveria and it's actually in bloom. I don't have any Echeveria in my collection. They look nice, but if I'm going to choose a succulent to add to my collection, I would definitely recommend growing Aeoniums. And you'll see why, because it's such a beautiful succulent. Maybe I'll find it during this plant shopping video. But right over here, we also have a Crusala. So I know that my viewers and subscribers want to see a couple more jade plants. This is an interesting looking one. It's actually in a very large pot. So if you want some large jade plant specimens, you can definitely go to Lowe's, and that's the beauty about going to a big box store like Lowe's. This one's only for $39.98 as well. Not a bad price at all for a Crusala, or what you would call a jade plant. And right next to it is a prickly cactus, a prickly pear cactus. This one actually can be grown in a landscape. I actually have one of these, and this is only for $39.98. I actually have one of these growing in my landscape in my backyard. Hopefully it will make it through the winter. Now, my mother-in-law actually got us a cutting and she was able to propagate that. So that's the reason why we have a prickly pear cactus. So I love that. And then over here, we've got some beautiful Echeverias again. This is for how much? $6.98. And you can see that there was one leaf that fell off. I may ask one of the employees if I could just take that leaf so I can propagate it. You know, that just fell off of the actual succulent. And that's the cool thing about finding succulent leaves around big box stores. So I saw this YouTube video about how to get free plants, and that video maker actually, she just mentioned how she would just ask the big box store staff if she could just take some of the broken pieces off of those succulents that are on the ground that will eventually go into trash. So it's always nice to ask. If they they probably just look at me crazy for wanting just one little succulent thing. I may do that, but I don't know if that's really worth the hassle. But there are some people who actually do get free plants that way. And then over here, we've got another Echeveria. Look at that color on the Echeveria. I just really like the very subtle gray tone about it. It's got a light purple tone. It's just got a really unique look about it. It's got a ghostly look, if that's even an adjective that I can use for that. And then over here, we've got another very large Fatsa japonica, or Japanese Aurelia. So there's this local plant nursery called Green Acres, which they recently opened out in Melissa, Texas. And they had some really large Fatsa japonicas for only like $30. And if I wanted to get a Fatsa japonica, I definitely would want to get a large version, just because the leaves are, they just look super cool. And, you know, I think that a massive plant like that would be worth, you know, taking up some of the space in my home. But as I walk through here in the middle of the night, there's nobody shopping, and so I could just freely look around and show you guys these plants. Now, for those that have been watching my videos daily, I know that I've featured a lot of these plants, like for instance, these Encore azaleas. This is the Bonfire, for instance. This is a dwarf azalea that will only get 3 feet wide and 3 feet tall. Love azaleas. I love Japanese gardens. And that's another thing that just really reminds me of a Japanese garden, are azaleas. But to go back to what I was saying, for those that have been watching my videos, my 1 hour plant shopping videos daily, I know that I've featured a lot of these plants, but I do just like showing you guys greenery and just being able to talk about plants freely. Like you can see right here, these are some knockout roses. Really love knockout roses. I used to have some in my garden, and they really bloom often and just keep blooming all summer long. And the thing about it is, the knockout rose, you don't necessarily have to deadhead them, which means actually cutting off the dead blooms. It kind of self-cleans itself, if that makes any sense. It just continues to bloom, and it's one of those easier roses to take care of. And then over here, we've got the Tropical Escape series. Now, these are like the White Bird of Paradise. These are sourced out by Costa Farms. This is for $6.98. White Bird of Paradise. Now, I've never really seen a White Bird of Paradise bloom in North Dallas. Like, it would just need a lot of bright light, and you know, definitely you won't get a White Bird of Paradise to bloom indoors. It really just requires a lot of light. In Florida, for instance, they just kind of grow White Bird of Paradise in landscapes year round. And then over here, we've got a Mandevilla flower just on a trellis, and it just has grown up that pole. It is a really cool looking flower, and it's one flower that just reminds me and gives me like tropical vibes. And then as I walk over here, we've got a bunch of different types of Mandevilla flowers. You've got that very yellow pastel look, and then they've got the white Mandevilla flowers. Some of them are not in bloom yet, but if you go to a big box store, a grocery store even, you will see Mandevilla flowers. That is a common plant that you will find, especially as summer is about to approach. And then over here, we've got a gorgeous looking cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. This is the kiwi version. Really nice foliage. And then this one seems to be more of the dwarf variety, which I liked. It's more compact. Now, cordyline plants can get very large. They prefer to be outdoors, and if you give them full sun, they are going to have the best coloration. My grandmother actually grows a bunch of cordyline tea plants. She's able to propagate a bunch of them, and she's given me propagations in the past. Unfortunately, I ended up killing them. She just has an ample amount of free plants that she gives me. She's constantly propagating plants, and that's the thing about plant growing, is the fact that you have options to multiply your plant collection through propagation. This is one of my favorite bougainvilleas. This is a bougainvillea raspberry ice. Really like the variegated bougainvillea. This is only for $26.98. That's not a bad price. And also with bougainvillea, they require full sun. They're a little bit more drought tolerant for sure, and they bloom. And, you know, to encourage their bloom, you actually want to not water it as much, because that plant will actually think it's needing to be in survival mode. So it pushes out more blooms with the hopes of like possibly reproducing itself. So I read that online, and I've actually tried it on a bougainvillea, and it actually worked. I got more blooms versus the foliage. And then I'm just going to be walking around here. It looks like they got a couple of rows of more roses. This is another type of rose called the True Bloom series. And look at this. This has some variegation. I really want to grow roses again. I don't know if I will have the time this year to really take care of them. I've already inundated myself with so many plants. Like literally every time I go plant shopping, which is pretty much every day to film, there are plants like this. Oh my gosh, plant find, plant find, plant find. This is a variegated string of hearts, and I have been looking for a variegated string of hearts. Oh my goodness, this is exciting. Like, I definitely swear to you that I did not expect to find a variegated string of hearts. I know that there were some popping up at Walmart. I didn't realize that Lowe's actually has it as well. Look at this. This one is already trailing. It's absolutely stunning. Love the variegation, love pink plants, and that was really going to be the theme of this this YouTube video for today, is that it is about the pink plants and variegated string of hearts. That's awesome, and it's only for $12.98. Really nice looking variegated string of hearts. And the cool thing about variegated string of hearts is it's actually a very vigorous grower. It's a fast growing plant. It's a plant that you can easily propagate. Now, I've seen smaller varieties of, you know, string of hearts at other stores like local plant nurseries, but nowhere near as full as this one right here, especially in a hanging basket. So that is definitely one hanging basket I want to buy, and I will hang it indoors. Now, with variegated string of hearts, you definitely want to give it as much light as possible. If you give it full sun, actually it will become even more variegated. You'll get more sun stressing, which will really push out the peaks. Now, for those that don't know the term sun stressing, that means if you give a plant a lot of bright indirect light, it gives it just a little bit more variegation than what you would normally see. You'll usually get like outlines of pink and more creams. It really just depends on the plant. I know with Hoyas, sun stressing Hoyas really look cool, but also succulents get a really cool coloration when you sun stress them. Now, here are some succulents, or actually cactus, that are grafted with these colors. I'm not really a fan of that. And then you can see they've got a bunch of assorted succulents right over here. Let's take a look at this right here. So this is a Kalanchoe chocolate soldier. I like Kalanchoe, and this one is a really cool looking one. I like that brown tone that it has, as well as its fuzzy leaves. So that is a really cool Kalanchoe. Now, whenever you think of Kalanchoe, you think of like the blooming flowers. And then I always look at this. I need to get one of these. This is a Crusala lemon and lime. Really love the variegation. It's got some high variegation here. And then there's another Crusala. If I can find it somewhere, I will show you. But let's take a look at this. This has some pink as well. This is another type of succulent right here. It's another Crusala, and I really like that it's got more of like a purple tone, a pink tone about it. So really cool to see these different types of succulents. I know you guys have been asking me to showcase a little bit more succulents, so I'm trying my best. And then this is another type of Crusala right over here. This one has more of that yellow variegation on it. That's a really cool looking succulent. And then you could take a bunch of these starter succulents and make a succulent arrangement. I know a lot of people have done that. I don't really have a lot of succulents in my collection, but I am definitely going to buy that variegated string of pearls for sure. And you can see they've got some different types of hanging baskets of succulents right over here as well. You can see that they've got a lot of small varieties of different type of hanging succulents. I like this one as well. It's got some purple and pink tones about it. Yeah, succulents, it's one of those things, once you get into it, you will grow a plant obsession. I haven't really gotten the bug to want to collect a bunch of succulents, but I do find them gorgeous. Now, plant foldies, for those that actually grow succulents, what are your favorite varieties? I know that there are certain varieties that I really gravitate to. This is absolutely not one of them. I don't really think it's cool to like paint some succulents like that. That's definitely very fake looking. Now, these are succulents. I didn't realize this. This is a Kalanchoe, but it is the floral or florist Kalanchoe where it just constantly blooms. I really like that a lot. I did not know at the time that it was an actual succulent. Now, with Kalanchoe like this, you definitely want to give it as much bright indirect light. Just like any type of succulent or cactus, they prefer that. And then over here, we've got a Euphorbia trigona. Yep, that's a Euphorbia trigona red royal. Look at that. I love the edges have more of like a magenta maroon tone about it. And it's just a cool looking plant as well. Really nice structure. And then what else do we have here? We've got another Crusala right here. I believe this is a Crusala Golem. Again, I want to go ahead and get some more jade plants, some more succulents, and Oasis is really bringing it in terms of just providing for Lowe's. I really like to see that as well. And then what else do we have over here? This is actually one of my favorite type of succulents, and this is an Aeonium Kiwi for $9.98. That is a really good price for an Aeonium. And if you notice here, it's got some pink edging to it. The more bright light you get, if you just give it full sun, it'll sun stress and you'll get even more beautiful pink coloration to that Aeonium. I actually bought one of those a little while back, and I actually separated it to where I got multiple plants out of it. But as you can see, super excited that I found a variegated string of hearts. I was not expecting it at all. This is the one I'm going to be taking home with me, but I did want to just keep showing you guys some more plants here. So as you can see, we've got a bunch of hanging baskets. We've got a bunch of potato vines, and in Texas, they grow a bunch of those just because they're very low maintenance plants and they're very fast growing. You can really fill up a space with it. They are invasive, so if you don't want them taking over your lawn, you definitely don't want to plant them just freely in your lawn. You want to keep them in a flower bed with some edging. And then you can see right over here, I love pink plants. So I'm going to pull the trigger and actually get this. This is for $4.98 for a variegated potato vine. Now, I am thinking about possibly trying to grow this indoors. I have tried to grow potato vines indoors in the past, and they ended up just getting spider mites. But I can't help but just want to get this variegated potato vine because look at that beautiful pink variegation. I also like the shape of the leaf. It's a really cool looking plant, and what I love about this particular plant is it is one that requires full sun, and it does grow very quickly, and I can take cuttings, root them, and have more free plants. So if you want to save money on plants, you could just grow your collection through propagation. I know that some of my viewers have mentioned that they've over propagated. You are not alone. I have done that as well, where I've literally taken a pothos vine with like 20 pothos nodes and cut it up, and I had like 20 pothos cuttings. There was really no need for me to go propagate that many, but I don't know. I just like the process of propagating plants, and that's what I've been doing, especially with my coleus plants. Like I literally took a couple of cuttings of coleus, stuck them in water, and literally in 5 days there's roots. So really like that a lot. And you know, with the potato vine plant like this for $8.98, you can actually take cuttings and they root just as quick as a coleus plant. Now this variety definitely likes to be in full sun. That's where they thrive best. You don't want to plant them in situations where they're not going to get a lot of sun. And I'm just gonna go walk around here. So this is a really cool shrub right here. Love that variegation. Look at that. That is absolutely stunning. Now obviously this would be a plant that you really couldn't grow indoors. You know, everybody says that plants are able to be grown indoors, but for this one, this Japanese laurel variegated form, I just don't think I would have success trying to grow this as an indoor plant. It definitely needs to be out, and it definitely needs to be out in full sun. So that is a plant I like to admire for a landscape. And then over here, we've got a ton of different types of planters, mixed planters. So we've got some wax begonia and some caladiums. And as I pan over here, another plant of mine that I really like that I would consider like a pink plant, it is a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. Look at how beautiful this plant is. The one that I bought at Walmart for $5.98 as a starter plant is actually putting out a lot of larger leaves. I repotted it in an 8-inch planter, which is not necessarily the ideal thing. You really want to go gradually when repotting something, but it is outside, so the soil so the soil actually dries out pretty fast. And then over here, I know that I've already had some Tradescanthia Nanook. This is for $4.98. I am definitely going to get a Tradescanthia Nanook, and I'm going to actually plant it in a planter that I want to grow outside in full sun to see what that growth is going to look like, whether it's really going to accelerate its growth growing outside in full sun versus just growing it indoors. Now with Tradescanthia, they do get leggy. So with this Tradescanthia Nanook, I love that it's got larger foliage. I love the purple undersides. I love the pink striping variegation. I just don't like the fact that it can can become very leggy. So I actually had one and I had to chop it back and propagate it. I may take some of those rooted cuttings already and stick it into the same container so I have a fuller plant. But Transcanthia nanuk, it used to be one of those uncommon Transcanthias that people were literally selling cuttings for quite a price. And now, you know, years later, you know, 3 to 4 years later, it is a common big box store plant. And then over here, we've got a Transcanthia Sabrina or a Burgundy, however you want to call it. That's another plant that is very easy to propagate and multiply. And you already know, I love Coleus, and this is a beautiful Coleus for $4.98. This is a Coleus plant that you can literally grow very quickly. They're vigorous growers. You can chop it up and stick it in water. I actually will show you how I propagate Coleus plants. So I actually have a couple of Coleus plants by Proven Winner that I'm going to take cuttings, and I'm actually going to show you how I take cuttings and actually propagate them directly in the soil. So I did a demonstration the last time where I propagated Coleus and put them in water, but now I wanted to just have a quick commercial break. So please stay tuned and just watch this little segment. I know that some of you guys wanted to see a little bit more content that was outside of big box store plant shopping, but we will go to big box store plant shopping in a minute. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take a pair of scissors that are clean and just take a cutting take a cutting where there is a node, so just a separation in between the leaves. So I'm just going to take a couple of cuttings here. I love the fact that with Coleus plants, when you take cuttings, it actually encourages more growth. It becomes more bushy, and I really like that. And you notice here, so I've got all of the Coleus plants ready, the cuttings. I'm going to cut some of these leaves back to where I'm going to go get multiple cuttings. So I actually cut another, cutting from the actual cutting just right underneath the node. And I'm using cinnamon powder. So not everybody uses cinnamon powder, but I found that cinnamon powder actually helps seal the cutting to where it may not rot. And I definitely don't want that to happen. And you can see here, I just have some tree and shrub potting soil mix that I got. It's actually fast draining. I'm just going to stick that Coleus there, and voila, that is it. You just stick it in there. You want to just water it with some Super Thrive water, and within about a week or two, it should start to root up. You definitely want to put your cuttings that are propagating in soil in shade versus just putting them in full sun. Actually, Coleus plants, you really don't want to put them in full sun unless they are a sun Coleus. But you notice that I just cut some of those smaller stems on the side. I'm actually gonna try to propagate those, but you can see here is another cutting. So I'm gonna use a cinnamon powder, dip that in there for the bottom, and then I'm gonna also seal the top. And then once I seal the top by just sprinkling some on that cut, I'm gonna go ahead and get one of my pots with some soil, use some chopsticks to make a little hole like this right here. There you go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and actually make two, because I'm going to put two cuttings in this one. So these are the mid cuts right here from the original. You can see the top cutting is in that first pot. And then I have two mid cuts. So I'm going to stick that one in soil. And then I'm going to have another one that I'm going to get ready to do and just stick it in soil as well. So that one is going to be a little bit more bushy. Super excited. Hopefully these Coleus cuttings will take in soil. I know that I had a couple of cuttings that I stuck in some of the mother plants, and I've noticed that they've rooted. So hopefully these will actually root as well. I want to give them as like plant giveaways because I'm going to have a limited amount of like Coleus plants this year. I take after my grandmother. She over propagates as well. And if you didn't see the shorts video on my YouTube channel, I was able to capture some of her Coleus plants. Like literally she had a 3-inch starter Coleus plant, and by the end of the summer she was able to like propagate it and have like full blown like 8-inch planters of Coleus plants. It was amazing. And my grandmother really just inspires me to just do plants, take care of plants and just propagate plants and share my passion for plants. But as you can see here, it's super easy to propagate Coleus plants. So I basically take some of the bottom leaves off. You really don't want the bottom leaves to really touch the soil like that because there is a potential of it rotting away. But as you can see, very easy. You can take a cutting, stick some cinnamon powder on the bottom of the cutting. That is the top cutting right here, and then just stick it into soil. It already looks like a plant. And then you can see right here, these are the mid cuts from the same cutting. I'm going to make 2 holes and actually put 2 of them in there. And then once I've got all the cuttings placed, I will just water them with some Super Thrive water. So Super Thrive is like a plant vitamin that's going to help just encourage some root growth. And you can see here, I'm just taking the bottom leaves off so there's less energy being put. Since it doesn't have a root system, it's going to be less stressful for the plant, and it's going to have a higher chance of actually rooting. I haven't really seen any failed attempts with coleus plants rooting in water or soil, so hopefully this will be a successful plant propagation. I will definitely give you an update on what this looks like, but I did want to show you guys how easy it is to just propagate coleus plants from cuttings. You just literally cut below a node, and then you just take the bottom leaves from that cutting, stick it in some cinnamon powder, and then stick it in some soil, and that is literally it. And that's the reason why I love coleus plants, because of the propagation opportunities you can get. And you know, free plants are awesome. And I did want to show you just an update of some of my coleus cuttings. So this one was a coleus cutting that I took a week ago, and you can see it's been in water, and you can see that there is already some root growth there and some new growth. So really like that a lot, and it was super easy. There was nothing to it. I literally just took a cutting, stuck it in water, let it sit there in water for about a week, and it's already rooting. So really excited about that. This has some really strong roots coming along. Now where I place my cuttings, you want to really place them in a bright indirect light situation. So I like to put them maybe on a east facing window, or just a window where it does get a lot of light. And you can even see here, this is a cutting that I didn't even think was going to take a root, but it did, and I really like that a lot. It's a little lopsided, and then you can see right here I'm using, you know, some liquor bottles for even plant propagation. But that is my my Kong mosaic cutting that I took about a week ago as well. It's just been sitting in water, and you can see that there are some roots already. I definitely want to propagate this one because this is a larger leaf coleus plant. So say you go to a big box store like Lowe's, you can literally buy one of those plants for $5.98, grow it up to where it will have a couple of more viable stems to cut it, stick it in water or stick it in soil, and you can quickly multiply your coleus plant collection. And that's the reason why I am thinking about maybe doing some free giveaways to some plant foldies that are located in the United States. I am currently doing a plant giveaway for a free Monstera Thai constellation. So if you want to enter that, please make sure you are following me on Instagram at Growfold. But you can see here, this is just an update of some of my cuttings, how easy it is. This one actually has some roots as well. Let me see if I can pull it. If not, let's see if there are actual roots. So this one hasn't rooted yet, and that's the interesting part, because this actual cutting wasn't in as much light as the other one. So maybe some of the lighting will also impact whether a cutting will actually like root faster than another one. But either way, I'm not worried about that. I know that it's gonna root. And the ones that I just took cuttings of, I stuck that in water as well. So we'll see within a week. But really excited that my coleus cuttings have taken root. I would say coleus cuttings are probably easier than even pothos plants, and pothos ivy are so easy to propagate through water as well. Some people really suggest that it's better just to go propagate coleus in straight soil. And I also wanted to give you an update on my coleus seedlings. As you can see, their growth is blowing up. I still have them in their original tray, and I have them under a grow light, but you can see that certain ones are already showing signs of their colors. So that's really exciting. You know, I had a plant foldy that told me, you know, growing coleus plants from seed, it's kind of like Christmas. You don't know what you're gonna get, but you know, the present is still an awesome present. I totally agree. Now I had a little bit of a fungus gnat situation, so I ended up buying some yellow sticky traps just to put over the this little container. The reason being is I keep the soil super moist, moist, and with fungus gnats, that is an ideal area for them to lay their eggs, and they're just a nuisance. But as you can see here, look at all of these coleus plants, and I only paid, I think, $1.98 for a seed pack of rainbow coleus. So I'll be getting different types of varieties of coleus plants, and I definitely will keep you posted on it. So if you have any questions about how to grow coleus plants from seeds, definitely ask that in the comments section, and I will, answer those questions. And I did want to show you a different cutting that I did. These are philodendron red emerald, so these are a very vigorous grower as well. Literally, they also root as quickly as a coleus plant. It only takes about a week and a half for them to show roots, but I stuck a coleus plant there as well, and you can see those red roots are starting to pop. I love red emerald, and you can see here, look at that. It's just a tiny cutting from the top, and you could have chugged it, or you could have created a new plant, a new free plant right there. So hopefully this will encourage you plant foldies to get some coleus plants and actually propagate them, give them as free plants. And I'm just excited that I will be able to have a stock of coleus plants year after year now. I have been looking at propagating them just for some of our viewers and subscribers. So let me know if you're interested in a coleus free giveaway. Those will be a lot easier for me to give away for free because I can just propagate them. And it's all about that plant propagation by plant foldies. And when you go to a big box store, you can get yourself a mother plant and then start propagating and getting your plants ready to go for more plants to add to your collection. So not that I need any more plants, but as you can see here, that's what you can do. That's how you propagate a coleus plant straight into soil. So hopefully that little segment got you excited. I know that I am excited with all my plant propagations. And then here's another pink plant. This is a variegated boat lily. Now this one doesn't have any pink variegation just yet. I don't know if it's going to actually push up pink variegation. The one I bought already had pink variegation, but it's a beautiful dark foliage plant. And you can see right here, you could probably ask somebody in the staff if you could take that home, because that is a broken stem. You can literally stick that in water or soil and it will propagate. And then another plant that I love because it's a versatile plant, this is a oyster rodeo plant. I've seen this offered as a house plant indoors. Indoor house plant. This one is also for $4.98. I definitely already have one in my plant collection, and it's actually growing very well outside. I have it in full sun. It's got some beautiful variegation, but I've noticed this one is a little bit more pink. So I think I'm going to go ahead and buy this plant as well. Again, I love pink plants, and what's even more interesting is finding pink plants that are really meant to grow better outdoors and trying to grow them indoors. So I'm just going to see, but you notice this one isn't as pink. I don't know if this particular plant's variegation is actually going to be influenced by the amount of light it gets. And you can see this one is super pink. I do like that it's a beautiful looking plant because of the purple undersides as well. So we're now back inside this Lowe's just to take a look at some of the indoor tropical plants. So I hope you guys have stuck around, and you see that I ended up just getting a shopping cart and stuck all of those pink plants in there because those are plants that I didn't intend to buy, but they spoke to me. I got the inspiration to just get more pink plants. So here we are. And then, as always, I love to look at the Phalaenopsis orchids at Lowe's. Lowe's has some amazing Phalaenopsis orchids. The majority of them are for like 20, let's take a look at the price. They are for $20.48, and these are sourced out by Costa Farms. So Costa Farms is everywhere when it comes to plants. They literally are sourcing out different types of plants, and I'm so thankful that Costa Farms is doing that for us, just because we have more plants to pick from. This is a beautiful hanging basket of a red marantha, and then we've got some more hanging baskets right over here. So we've got a neon pothos or an Epipremnum aureum neon, one of my favorite pothos. Honestly, pothos plants are just my favorite because they're so easy to grow. They come in different varieties. Like you can see right over here, this is one of my favorite pothos plants. This is an Epipremnum aureum enjoy. Now, it's often mislabeled as a pearls and jade, but this is not a pearls and jade. And the way you can tell it is a pearls and jade will have less high contrast and more speckling on the leaves. This one literally has like that cream or white variegation right against that green foliage. And then right over here, we've got a beautiful looking Epipremnum aureum marble queen. Marble queen pothos, that is another pothos I like. The only drawback with marble queen, and I say this in every video and every segment that I talk about a marble queen, is it can revert. If you don't give it a lot of bright indirect light, it's not going to have nearly as white of a variegation. So you just want to be mindful of your lighting conditions here. And then I always find this orchid very interesting just because the blooms are different. And you can see right here, it is another type of orchid. So Lowe's actually offers different types of orchids, more so than most big box stores. So they've got Calathea orchids, Dendrobium orchids, Phalaenopsis orchids, and they even have this type of orchid. Love that the blooms are very tiny and just very elegant as well. Love yellow blooms. I feel like yellow is the color of joy. And then right over here, we've got some more hanging baskets. So this is another plant that's been talking to me, but I just can't get myself to buy it. This is a Triscanthia as well, but it's one that I may want to get. But you know, with this type of plant, you definitely want to grow it on like a hanging basket or just let it trail down. It is another plant that makes me a little bit nervous. You know, Triscanthia, as beautiful as they are, they can get leggy very quickly. So it's just going to take some maintenance to make sure that you are chopping it back if it does get leggy. And we talk about pink plants. This is a plant I may try again. This is a Snow White waffle plant by Costa Farms. This one is for $5.98 in a 3-inch planter. Beautiful, you know, pink variegation. But the problem is, for me, I ended up killing it. It's because I probably didn't water it nearly as much, and it probably needed that water. And then you can see right here, we've got a Palea mollis right here. Really interesting looking plant. This is the friendship plant right here. I would assume that this is another plant that's going to require higher humidity, just based on what it looks like. It does look like a terrarium type plant. Same thing with the Snow White waffle plant. You know, I think those types of plants that need high humidity, some plants can just can only really grow in a terrarium setting. Here is another pink plant that I like that I was almost going to buy. This is a Juanita Fittonia. Really love the pink veining on this particular Fittonia. Now with Fittonias, it's not necessarily going to be a plant that's going to work for me because I have a problem with not watering my plants on a consistent basis. I mean, actually watering my plants on a consistent basis is what I mean. And then over here, really cool plant find. It's not the best Epipremnum aureum Manjula pothos, but for those that like Manjula, you know, Lowe's, you'll be able to find some randomly. And for some reason, a lot of people say that in their regions or places where they live, Manjula pothos is a little bit more of an uncommon plant. For me, it's actually been fairly easy to find. They're almost as easy as to find as like a Fittonia plant. Like I pretty much go to a Lowe's or a big box store and I run into a Manjula pothos often. The only type of Manjula pothos I haven't seen is the big hanging baskets that Costa Farms sometimes releases. I want them to release more because I would definitely buy that in a heartbeat. And then over here, we've got another type of plant. This is another Belgian waffle plant by Costa Farms. Really like the look of Belgian waffle plant. It's similar to the Snow White waffle plant, but it has more like tan cream variegation versus the pink. I have one that I bought from H-E-B as a rescue clearance plant. It's growing outside in my back patio and it's actually doing very well. So I was surprised with that. This is a plant too that I was thinking about getting just because it's a more vigorous grower. I love the heart-shaped leaves. They kind of remind me of a juvenile form of a Monstera deliciosa. This is a Philodendron hederaceum. Some people call this Philodendron cordatum. Not really sure what the difference is or if it's a different plant. And then as I walk over here again, this Lowe's is about to close, so I'm going to try to, you know, end this video soon. I went really late. You know, Lowe's closes at 10, so you already know I am out and about. I'm out in the streets looking for plants to film, just so you can have something to look at and for us to talk about. But you can see lots of Pachira aquaticas right there. And then look at this beautiful Philodendron hederaceum Brazil by Urban Jungle. This is really beautiful and it's one that I am tempted to buy. Like, so I have a Philodendron hederaceum lemon lime. I don't have like a full bushy Philodendron Brazil, and I think I should get one, just like I should get this Hydra Helix. or Gold Baby English Ivy. The correct way to say it is Hedera Helix. This one is for $20.84. I would love to buy a full hanging basket of Hedera Helix, but the problem is I already know that full bushy look that this Hedera Helix has, give me like 2 to 3 weeks and it will get very bare at the top. So for now, I'm just gonna hold off from buying any English Ivy. I only have one left. It's the Bettina Ivy, and it's still doing okay. I actually am bottom watering it for like 24 hours just to make sure that it actually gets all of the water it needs. And then right here, look at this right here though. That's a beautiful Epipremnum Aria Marble Queen Pothos. And have you noticed that Marble Queen Pothos have a variety of like variations of its variegation? Some of them are highly variegated, some of them aren't. And then I actually find this interesting. So this is a begonia red kiss, or a Rex begonia. I really like that Costa Farms has attempted to name some of their begonia varieties, with the actual begonia name. So this is the red kiss. Beautiful velvet red look about it. I love that foliage. Now, Rex begonia are a little bit more tricky for me. Surprisingly, the 3 Rex begonia I bought from a local plant nursery called Nicholson Hardy, they're still doing very well. You don't want to water the tops of the leaves. Like, you really want to keep the leaves dry, and you definitely don't want to get the stems wet. Otherwise, they will actually rot away and then die. But I've also noticed that Lowe's is now carrying a bunch of these self-watering planters. Look at how highly variegated this particular zebra plant is. That's really variegated. Now this is by Live Trends again. I'm just not a fan of like that top moss that they have, that fake moss they have as a top dressing. I really think they could just not have the top moss on there because I feel like those top moss, or that moss, once you get it wet, is gonna harbor like potential pests like fungus gnats. But you can see here, beautiful Calathea dotty. Love that dark purple tone about it. And then we've got just a classic Sansevieria bird's nest, or snake plant bird's nest. Really like the look of that as well. It's an easy care for plant because it can tolerate lower light conditions. So for anybody beginning plants, you definitely want to get a snake plant. That's easy. And you can also get a Syngonium here. Look at how beautiful this Syngonium is. Now this one is for $13.98 by Urban Jungle. This is another common plant that you will see at a big box store at Lowe's. So Lowe's has done a very good job with just keeping plants in stock. If I was going to be nitpicky, I feel like their merchandising or their plant arrangement could just be a little bit better in terms of just organization. But needless to say, I haven't seen any crazy looking plants that were just in dire need of help. Like this one right here, I love the look of this pothos. Like, would you agree that this Enjoy pothos is one that I think every plant foldie, so if you're a viewer of mine, let's all run to a Lowe's or a big box store and buy an Enjoy pothos, buy yourself an Aglaonema, and also get yourself an Coleus. And then here is another Tradescanthia. This is the Burgundy, or what they call the Tradescanthia Sabrina. Look at how full this is, and it's actually got some compact growth, so that's really cool. I'm going to assume that if this plant actually gets a lot of bright indirect light, that the spacing between the leaves are going to be more compact versus leggy. I've noticed that certain plants get leggy when it doesn't get enough light, just like this Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue. I have one that's hanging in a hanging basket that I'm actually growing, and I've noticed that if a Cebu Blue doesn't get enough light, it shoots more runners versus actual leaves. So that's something that maybe influences whether a plant gets leggy, is just the lighting condition. So just be mindful of that. Love the Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue. It is endemic to my home country, which is the Philippines. Proud Filipino right here, mabuhay. And for those that are from the Philippines, please make sure you leave comments as well. You can actually leave them in Tagalog. I know Tagalog and will respond to you in Tagalog. Again, the comments, my plant foldies, as you guys watch these videos, I know that there's a lot of participation in the live premiere chats, but even after you watch this video, all I ask is for you to hit the like button and also leave a comment about what plants you have, what you thought about the video. just any engagement would really help my channel out. We are now at 9,300 plus subscribers, so we're getting close to that 10,000 subscriber goal. I was hoping to try to get it by mid-May. It might be a little bit later than that, but who knows. And as you can see here, I've just pulled a bunch of plants, plants that you see at a big box store. Like, I love that Live Trends always has some healthy looking quality plants. Like, look at this beautiful Ficus elastica burgundy. And you can see here, it's just a gorgeous looking ficus plant. I love that the leaves are darker foliage, and you can see that subtle red, coloration on the leaves. I actually grow my Ficus elastica in full sun outdoors, and it is doing very well. It's not burning. It's actually growing a lot faster. It's very much accelerated in its growth. And then this is a Homelamena Shelby. So I've been seeing this pop up a lot at all of the Lowe's I've been walking into. At one point I wasn't seeing it, but it looks like Live Trends has released it again. I touched the leaves and it's got more of a velvety texture about it. It kind of reminds me of like an Aglaonema or a Dieffenbachia. Beautiful green on green variegation as well. Now with Homelamena, at least this particular one, I heard it was a little bit fussy, just like this plant right here. This is a Thenanthe plant. I love that green on green variegation. I had one of these actually about 3 to 4 years ago when I was really taking care of a bunch of indoor plants. This particular Nanthe though, look at that. I've never seen like white variegation on a Nanthe. Honestly, if I was, trying to stay out of it, actually trying to not be within budget, I would buy that as well just because of that white variegation. But as you can see right here, they've got lots of plants. Love this, and I'm glad that I was able to find a variegated string of hearts. I just want to show you this. Isn't this a gorgeous plant right here? And I am now going to try to get some of these plants bought before the actual Lowe's closes, but stick to the very end of the video. I've got a little bit more content. I just wanted to show you that I have a full basket of pink plants here. So I bought a Tradescanthia nanu, a variegated potato vine, a rodeo oyster plant, and a variegated string of hearts, all of which I intend to grow outdoors. But as you can see here, I wanted to show you all of my pink plants. So I actually got that Aeonium plant for $9.98 from another Lowe's. I ended up separating them, and you can see right here, I ended up repotting them in a potting mix that's actually going to be, I actually had a bunch of like orchid bark. I had a bunch of perlite put in there, some charcoal to really just get some fast draining. So I honestly should have just used bonsai potting mix, but that's a little bit expensive. So we'll see what this looks like. Hopefully I can get this this Aeonium a little bit better. I ended up actually getting it on clearance for 50% off, and I just know that it will bounce back. I'm going to definitely just grow it outdoors. I don't want to overwater it, but I did just repot that. And then look at this right here. So these are all of my pink plants that I have that are growing outdoors. One of my favorite ones, so I bought this variegated boat lily a little while back. If you go back a couple, a little bit, maybe a month ago, I bought that at Lowe's, and notice how my variegated boat lily is actually variegated as compared to the ones that I showed you from the plant shopping I did the evening. And you can see here I repotted all of these plants in these beautiful planters I bought at Target from the Threshold planters. Really like that a lot. But you can see here, look at that pink variegation. Let me know in the comments if you like pink plants. Like, there's other pink plants that I can get featured, but these ones are plants that are able to grow outdoors and indoors successfully. So I am really excited about that. I actually have a couple of cuttings I'm going to put in that actual pot with the Tradescanthia nanu. And you can see right here, this is my newest Rodeo oyster plant. That one's a lot more pink than the other Rodeo oyster plant that I have over there in the back. Look at how gorgeous that is. Again, I am going to be growing this outdoors. I just find growing plants outdoors a lot easier to maintain. And you can see here, look at how much growth this one has put out. And I just love the fact that there's multiple plants growing out of this pot now. I may end up having to repot it, but these are plants that I'm hoping that I can bring back indoors and grow successfully. All of these, when brought indoors, will be put under a grow light, a very bright grow light, so they can, but look at how gorgeous this is. Look at that variegation. I would say out of all my pink plants, this is probably my favorite one, just because I bought it. Didn't think it was going to really be all, you know, beautiful like that. And now it is growing very well. You notice that it's shooting out some of those leaves. I'm going to end up actually propagating that. I'm just going to let it grow a little bit more, but I'm going to go ahead and propagate more of that plant as well. So plant foldies, what do you guys think about these beautiful pink plants? Do you collect pink plants? I definitely do. I love aglaonemas, for instance, because there's a lot of pink varieties of aglaonemas, but that's one that I wanted to show you. I also wanted to show you this flowering maple plant that I just recently repotted in a larger pot. Really love the look of that one. I bought that at Callaway's, and I'm hoping that it will continue to grow. And then these are my coleus plants that I bought from Plants and Planters. Now it's in a pot that's been repotted. It's in an 8-inch planter. I know it's a little bit larger, but I feel like it's gonna grow fairly quickly, and I'll be able to take some cuttings. This is the coleus plant, or the sun coleus, that I bought from Ace Hardware that's been repotted. It has some of the leaves aren't doing as well, but hopefully they'll bounce back. And then that is the Junior Kong green halo that I bought at Plants and Planters. This is just a typical coleus white, coleus Wizard Rose, I think, that I bought at Home Depot. It's a tiny one, but I really like the coloration. But as you can see, I've actually taken some time to repot my plants and just get them looking nice. I will eventually show you my houseplant tour, as long as I just continue to get that engagement from you guys. And also I need to get my actual home in order for me to show YouTube that. Anyhow, my plant foldies, I hope you guys enjoyed my plant shopping video and these plants as well. I will see you on the next one. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at the Walmart off of North Custer Road in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button for this video and also following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. Also, subscribe to my channel with the notification bell on if you want daily 1-hour plant shopping videos with our plant foldie community. And for those that are new to this channel, welcome. I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies, and today we will be going to a Walmart that I often frequent just to look to see if they actually have a restock of plants. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I just got off of work, so I figured I would go ahead and do some plant shopping and filming some plants for you to see. I definitely love talking about plants, and for all of the plant foldies that continue to tune into my channel, thank you so much. Our community is growing, and so I'm just really excited to be able to show you guys what is at this actual Walmart today. And we're gonna go first into the outdoor section. So it is spring, it is beautiful, and I always like to show you guys all of the beautiful outdoor plants as well. I know the majority of you guys have probably found my channel through the indoor houseplant shopping that I've been doing, but it is spring and I want to show you guys different types of plants. I want to diversify the plant content here, and a little birdie told me that there were some Acer palmatum or Japanese maples being sold at Walmart. So really excited to show you this because these are in 1-gallon containers for $19.95 by Garden Expert, which is pretty much Walmart's plant brand. And you can see there that was a Crimson Queen, and then right over here is an Acer palmatum Bloodgood or Japanese Bloodgood. Really love the red foliage of Japanese maples. For those that don't know me or haven't gotten to really know me, I also love Japanese maples. That is something that I also collect. I actually collect different types of maples, but mainly Acer palmatum. So I will try to pepper in a little bit of some Japanese maple content. I love Japanese culture. I love bonsai, and so that kind of just leads itself to me being attracted to Japanese maples. But that's super exciting that a big box store like Walmart is carrying Japanese maples. I'm about to buy maybe 2 or 3 to add into my landscape. And in the first little hanging basket we have here are some New Guinea impatiens. Now I don't know the plant price for this, but whenever you go shopping at Walmart, you can almost be guaranteed that you will be saving some money. I always recommend buying plants at Walmart if you're looking to save some money on plants, because what I've found is Walmart across the board is probably the most cost-effective big box store you can go plant shopping. Now, there are some one-offs where if, say, you go to a grocery store like Kroger or Sprouts, which is another local grocery store out in North Dallas, this is where I am actually based at, they have a little bit more cheaper plants, but for the most part, when you compare Walmart to like Home Depot or Lowe's, typically Walmart has the more cost-effective pricing, and that's why I find myself shopping at Walmart. I will say that there is a debate about whether big box store plants are really healthy and if it's really, you know, the plants you want to bring into your home. I don't really have a problem with big box store plants, especially outdoor plants like this. I mean, look at this. For $12.97, you get a wax begonia mix. I actually ended up getting this wax begonia mix for $5 when I happened to get lucky to go to a Walmart out in West Plano, Texas. They happen to just make these plants clearance. So it is, you know, an advantage to just check your big box stores. Now, I do 1 hour plant shopping videos. I've been doing that for quite some time now, a couple of months. And what I've noticed is sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes you get lucky, you walk into a Walmart or a Home Depot or a Lowe's, and then all of a sudden you either find a really cool looking plant that's super rare or something that is on sale or clearance. And you can see here, I am going to be picking up a couple of vegetable plants as well. I am going to be growing some vegetable plants in a grower box, and I'm interested in growing tomatoes. Now with tomatoes, you definitely want to give them full sun. And you can even see here as I pan over, I haven't seen this yet. So Walmart is now offering caladiums. Really like that red foliage on this caladium. This one is for $8.78. And I say this in every video that I feature caladiums, but I look at caladiums as the more colorful version of alocasia. Now, caladiums grow from a bulb, and typically when you plant caladiums down in a bulb, they don't really sprout until it gets a little bit hotter. So, you know, early spring, you're not really going to see caladiums, but obviously these caladiums were already grown to in warmer conditions in possibly a greenhouse. Now, I would love to be able to grow caladiums indoors, but I always get nervous about plants that are really meant to grow outdoors. Typically, when you bring an outdoor plant like a caladium indoors, their health becomes a little bit more compromised, which means they may not actually be the best candidate to grow indoors. They will be a little bit more susceptible to maybe pests like spider mites. So we'll see. But my plant foldies, or anybody that's just really discovering my channel and watching this video today, let me know if you actually have had success growing caladiums in your home, indoors, year round. I would love to hear that in the comments. And then right over here, this is for $5.88. Really good price for this coleus. This is a coleus wasabi, and I actually have coleus wasabi. It's got a neon green yellowish tone about this coleus. What I like about this coleus too, it is a very vigorous grower. Its leaves get quite big, and I actually personally have one in my collection. $5.88 by Better Homes and Garden. I love all of the Better Homes and Garden coleus plants. I think that when you go to Walmart and buy these plants, you will definitely save some money. Coleus plants are my current plant obsession. I talk about coleus all the time. I have added so many coleus in my plant collection. I have propagated coleus plants, and you know, it is my mission to encourage more plant lovers to grow coleus plants, but I'm actually trying something new with just my content. So I obviously want to continue with the big box or plant shopping videos, but in between, I want to insert some, you know, commercials. So stay with me. I'm going to go back to the main program with the Walmart feature, but I wanted to show you this. Do you see this beautiful coleus wasabi? Well, this is my actual coleus wasabi that I bought about that same size as that coleus, and you can see that it is in an 8-inch planter. It is really large, and it has grown for me substantially. I do plan to chop this up a little bit and actually create maybe 4 or 5 plants from this. The beautiful thing about coleus plants is that you can propagate them quickly. When you actually chop them up, it actually encourages them to push out more shoots. It is encouraged that you pinch back the new growth in order for it to actually get bushy. But as you can see right here, this plant is about 2.5 feet tall. I haven't had this plant for a while. I repotted it in a beautiful modern planter that I bought from Target, from the Threshold line. I love that simple white matte planter. And actually, if you are watching this, this is the first week of May. Target has actually got these planters, these Threshold planters on sale for 30% off if you buy them online. So, you know, I'm also trying to get people to find places where you can be more cost effective and save money on your plant supplies. So I would encourage that if you're looking for the same planters I use for my plants, definitely go to Target and buy the Threshold line of those matte simple planters. But as you can see right here, look at how beautiful these leaves are. Look at how velvety they are. And with this coleus plant, it does prefer to be in more shaded areas. It prefers bright and direct light in the morning, protection from the afternoon sun. It is a coleus that I love, even if it seems to be like a common coleus. If you like this coleus, the same one that I'm growing, like this one right here, you can go to your local Walmart and hopefully you will find it. They're releasing a couple of new coleus varieties, so we're going to check that out. Anyways, we are back at the main program. This is for $12.97, and this is an impatient hanging basket. Love impatient flowers. Those ones are specifically for the shade, and you can see right over here, I've actually bought this coleus. This is coleus ruby slippers. Look at how red the foliage is. It just has some subtle yellow edging on the the borders. What a beautiful coleus. And then when you put it right next to that coleus wasabi, there is just a high contrast about it, and that's the thing I love about coleus plants. They have such beautiful colors, such beautiful leaf shapes and sizes, and it's just such a cool looking plant. I can see why this plant could be hybridized to have different types of breeds, because they are easy to grow from seeds as well. I wanted to show you this one as well. So notice that this coleus red slipper, not red slipper, ruby slippers, has a lot more smaller foliage. Well, look at here. If you look, somebody has chopped the top part of this coleus down, and after chopping the main trunk, you can see that 3 new shoots have popped out. So it is a little bit more of a bushy plant. I think that's really interesting. So again, if you want to make your coleus plant branch out, all you have to do is literally chop up the top part, and it will continue to push up multiple branches. I like the look of this coleus, and it's interesting because this is also the same coleus ruby slippers, but notice how it's got yellow on the borders. So while coleus plants are similar, I would say unless they are literally propagated from cuttings, the seeds are going to look slightly different. So they may not necessarily be as the same plant. But you can see right here, this is by Garden Expert. This one is a little bit cheaper for $6.97. It's a larger coleus. It's got more of a bronze tone about it. I actually have this coleus as well. So if you notice, I basically go to big box stores, and if I see a coleus plant that I don't have, I will definitely buy it. I want to have this like plant budget. But right now, as I do plant shopping videos daily, it is very challenging, very difficult for me to stay within budget. I give myself like a $20 budget, but when you think about it, if I have a $20 budget to spend every day, for at least 5 days a week, that is $100 a week, for 5 days. In a month, I would be spending $400 on plants, and that's not really feasible. So I need to slow down a little bit. And I don't know if you plant foldies or anybody that loves plants has gotten yourself in a bind where you see beautiful plants like this. Like this is a Calibrichoa, I think that's how you pronounce it. Look at that mixed planter of red, orange, and yellow blooms. I really like that these are the warmer colors, but it makes you want to pick this up, put it on in a patio, in a sunny patio, and you will actually spend more money. That's $17.88. And that's the reason why I don't even know what to do with myself in terms of just these plants, because not only do I like indoor tropical plants, I love flowers like these Supertunia by Proven Winners. It's absolutely stunning. And I've said this in every single video that I've been doing for the last 5 months. Petunias are the flower of the hour. You can find them everywhere. And it's so cool that they have all of these different types of hybrids. Like I am highly impressed that, Supertunias, petunias, they've got it all. And then you can see right over here, this is another Super Bells Calibrichoa. That is a little bit of a tongue twister, but look at how tiny the leaves are. They are not petunias, but they look like miniature petunias. And you can see right over here, Proven Winners has another type of flower right here. Let's take a look at it. This is a verbena, I believe, for $5.97. Full to part sun is what it's saying. But look at how beautiful that flower is. That subtle, lavender look about it. It's absolutely stunning. But for those that are into flowers, let me know what other flowers you want to see. I am going to just try to diversify my plant content a little bit more. I would say my plant YouTube's intent is really just to take you alongside whenever I go plant shopping. So whether it's indoor house plants, tropical plants, landscaping, Japanese garden, rose garden, herbs, vegetables, flowers, I want to just feature all of that. And then right over here for $10.97 is a Japanese Aurelia or Fatsa japonica. This is a beautiful looking one. Now it says it's the spider's web one, but I don't think this is a spider's web one because it's only got like green foliage, unless the spider's web variegation appears when it gets a little bit bigger. But I really don't think it is. I think it's a mislabeled plant. But it's Japanese Aurelia are plants that you can grow as perennials depending on your growth zone. My grow zone is 8B, and I've been able to see them actually tolerate the really harsh winters and come back in the spring. And then you can see here more beautiful petunias. Love that pastel canary yellow look on that. That is for $17.97. And as I pan over here, you can see they've just got so many plants. I do like shopping in the late afternoon just because the lighting is really nice. And I like to just show you all of the different types of plants that Walmart has. It's really interesting that a lot of you viewers have mentioned that the plants, the big box stores like the Walmarts in the North Dallas area are super organized in stock. Really excited about that because I would, give Walmart, at least the ones in my area, some credit. They have really brought in some amazing looking plants, and I love all of the beautiful colors. Like this one right here is a sweet potato vine for $3.97. One thing you can note is these leaves right here, you can actually eat. These are edible. Obviously do your research, but I have been able to eat these as well. I'm Filipino and, proud to be Filipino. And whenever we make some of our dishes, we actually use potato vine leaves for our soup. So that might be something you might want to delve into. Again, before you start eating these leaves, make sure that you do your research on these Better Homes and Garden potato vines. I don't want to be responsible for anybody getting sick if you're just eating that, but I know that potato vines are typically edible. I don't know what the flavor will register for you, but needless to say, very vigorous plant, a plant that definitely needs full sun. Now these are some more coleus plants. Now this is a coleus. Let's take the look. This is a coleus campfire for $5.88. Beautiful looking coleus. It's a little bit more orange as compared to the ruby slippers. Now with coleus plants, to sum up their plant care, coleus plants need bright indirect light. They prefer to be in shade unless they are specifically called a sun coleus or a flamethrower. Those types of coleus are hybridized coleus that can take full sun, but for the most part, coleus need to be in more bright indirect light. So like a shaded area where it gets like morning sun and then protection from the late afternoon. Coleus plants also are very thirsty plants, meaning if you're going to grow coleus plants in containers, you're pretty much going to have to water them every single day. For hot environments like North Dallas in the summer where it's 100-degree weather, you will need to go water them in the morning, possibly in the middle of the day, and in the evening. That's how thirsty these plants are. And what happens is if you don't water them, they will quickly droop and potentially have the leaves crisp up. But you notice this one right here. This is a coleus campfire, but look at how this is a little bit actually not even a little bit different. It is a lot more different than the coleus campfires I'm looking at here. This one has more yellow. I might actually buy that coleus because that's an interesting looking texture. And then you can see right over here, this is another coleus campfire for $5.88. Look at how beautiful the leaf is. It's got like a red orange tone about it. It's got a velvety texture. There's a certain satin shine about it. And with coleus plants, they're very they're very versatile in the way you can grow them. You can grow them in the landscape. You can grow them in the container. You can grow them indoors. You can grow them as like a tree form. You can even grow them as a bonsai, like in an actual shallow pot, and you can train the leaves to be more like branch-like by trimming it back. So there are so many uses for coleus, and I just absolutely love it. And I hope that I can influence you guys into buying them and actually treating them as a house plant. And you can see here, this is my first time actually seeing this coleus flamethrower for $5.88. Actually at Walmart. I've seen this at local plant nurseries like Callaway's Nursery, which is another plant nursery I often frequent. Please definitely check out my past videos of Callaway's Nursery. They have a bunch of these coleus plants, but this is from the flamethrower series, which means these coleus can actually be grown in full sun. Notice how this coleus plant here has a different type of leaf shape. Really love that neon green variegation on it. I'm not sure the potential of how big this coleus plant is gonna get, but if you notice, the campfire actually gets fairly large. And then I also wanted to give you a little bit nitpick on like another coleus plant. This is a personal coleus plant that I have been growing, and so I've been growing this for a while, but one thing I wanted to show you is notice how there are blooms here. So these blooms have been on this coleus plant for about 2 weeks, and ever since I let these blooms just grow, the coleus plant hasn't actually pushed out any new growth. So there's no more leaves, which brings me to tell you, if you're growing a plant like a coleus plant for its foliage, obviously when the blooms appear, the plant is actually putting so much more energy into the blooms versus growing foliage. So the best thing to do if you want it to get bigger, because I'm surprised that this coleus plant hasn't gotten any larger, but I can understand why. It's because of the flowers. You want to go ahead and cut back the flowers. That way the plant can actually focus on growing leaves versus growing flowers and seeds. Eventually I will let some of my coleus plants grow some seeds so I can collect them and grow them for next year, but that's just a little tip for about coleus plants. Here is some more views of this beautiful coleus flamethrower. I don't know the specific type of coleus flamethrower it is, but what I do know is look at how beautiful the green leaves are. And then I love the look of the coleus wasabi plant. This is such a neon color plant. Love the look of it, and it has large foliage, and it's one that I've already been growing. Mine is about 2.5 feet tall, 2.5 feet like width as well, and I am planning on chopping it back substantially. And now I've shown you guys how to propagate coleus plants in some of my other previous videos I premiered in the last week, and hopefully I can really multiply my plant to where I can even have like a full tray to possibly do as plant giveaways for my loyal plant foldies. Now, if you haven't checked out my Instagram, please follow my Instagram at GrowFolds. I have a reel there where if you like it, tag 3 minimum friends, and for every tag to that reel is an extra entry. You will be entered to win a free Monstera Thai constellation, so definitely check that out. If you like a Monstera Thai constellation, it is a random drawing, and so everybody has a fair shot to check to win that Monstera. But you can see right here, these are some gerbera daisies. These ones are for $5.88 by Better Homes and Garden. I've seen this a lot at like grocery store. It's a beautiful flower, and there's a different types of colors for it. I do like the white flowers. I've talked about how I love the look of white flowers because there is a certain elegance and simplicity around it. And as I pan over here, there's so many beautiful flowers, most of those pink petunias. And then we can see right over here, I'm going to keep looking at some of these gerbera daisy. Look at this one right here. This is a beautiful one again for $5.88. This one is a nice scarlet red daisy. Look at that. I haven't personally grown these daisies. I do like the flower. They remind me of sunflowers. If you notice, the texture of the leaves are super cute. So that's another thing about big box store plant shopping, especially when you're looking at outdoor plants. I love that this Walmart, and actually the majority of Walmarts I've visited, have really upkept their plants. Now, most of these plants are actually taken care of by Altman Plant Nursery. Those are where most of these plants are being sourced out. And I actually happened to meet a couple of those plant vendors. I love how diligent they are about maintaining the outdoor plants. And you can see beautiful outdoor plants like this. This is a lantana right here. I love lantanas. This is the yellow variety. Lantanas are very drought tolerant, can tolerate very hot conditions. So they are a perfect flowering, mounding shrub, if you want to call it that, for Texas landscapes. So I planted a bunch of those actually in my backyard. And we'll see if they will actually spread and become beautiful and have, so many different types of colors. So I'm super excited about that. And then plant foldies, I wanted to show you this. Canna lily, this is for $16.97. Canna lilies are perennials. And again, for those that don't know what perennials means that the plant can grow for an entire season. It'll grow spring, summer, fall, and die off in the winter, and then we'll come back the following year. When I think of perennial plants, I think of plants, once a perennial plant is placed into the ground, it is a permanent plant. And then over here is a new plant I haven't ever seen. This is a beard tongue plant. Look at this. Look at that, the narrow leaves, and then look at that beautiful pink bloom. Really like the look of that as well. And I have to commend Better Homes and Gardens. They have been really coming out with some amazing looking plants. And then for my plant foldies, again, shout out to all of the Canadian plant foldies. I wanted to say hello to Kathy, Alfred, Cindy, anybody else that is from Canada. Thank you for always tuning into my channel. Really like that a lot, and I really hope my Canadian plant foldies will eventually get more plants that we get out in North Dallas. There's just so many beautiful plants, and that's the thing about these outdoor plants. I just can't get over them. Look at this. This is so beautiful. This is another beard's tongue for $9.74 by Better Homes and Garden. Now, Better Homes and Garden also has some amazing looking modern contemporary planters. If you're going to ask me my aesthetic of like what kind of planters I use, I love very simplistic planters, very minimalistic, no texture, smooth surfaces, matte surfaces. I love terracotta pots, just the main plain terracotta pot as well. So if you want to know what my aesthetic is for plant styling, that is it. And you can see there, beautiful petunia. And then I wanted to show you this. So there is this term called prop lifting, where basically you can see like a piece of a branch or a stem has fallen off of that portulaca, for instance. And some people have asked some of the staff at a big box store if you could just take that that piece of cutting home. Eventually the staff or the big box store eventually just sweeps it up and throws it away. But if you actually took those portulaca stems that have just fallen off or got broken off, stick it in water and you can root it and get you a free plant. So I actually saw that. It was quite interesting. It was called How to Get Free Plants. And it was like a YouTube video that had gotten over 2 million views. And when I really watched it, it was just interesting because the girl that featured it called it prop lifting, where basically, again, you just find some broken branches off of some of these plants, ask the big box store if they could potentially let you have it. It doesn't hurt to ask. I don't know if they will always say yes, but that is what they call prop lifting. It's an interesting term. Anyways, let me get back to the main program, and that's just to show you guys these plants. This one is for $5.88. So I actually like this fuchsia plant right here. Look at that. It looks like very delicate bells or ring chimes. Really like that a lot. This is another plant that I would consider getting as well. This is another, I think it's a perennial plant, and I'm going to look at over here. So these are some more garden export plants. Lots of beautiful plants right over here. This is another calabrichoa flower. Notice that these look like miniature petunias, but they're not petunias. Their care is similar. They do like full sun. You've got to give these petunias and the calabrichoa full sun, super color in any type of weather. This is for $17.88. No, it's a pretty big planter actually, and these planters, flower planters, it's just a good way to just bring a lot of color, a pop of color into your outdoor space. I love flowers. I ended up finding some clearance flowers, like some yellow marigolds for $1. And so I, want to always visit these Walmarts. And for those that actually live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel with the notification bell on. Sometimes we can subscribe to a YouTube channel, but if you don't have the notification bell on, you won't necessarily get the notification for when the videos premiere or get uploaded. Sometimes YouTube may not even recommend a video to you, even if you're subscribed to the channel, unless you are constantly watching the video. So hopefully my plant foldies, you continue to go click on my videos whenever you see them recommended, because that helps with the YouTube recommending it to even more people that may not have necessarily found my YouTube channel. And then over here, my favorite plant, or one of my favorite plants, this is a variegated ajuga in a 4-pack for $7.47. Look at that beautiful texture. It looks very much like a vegetable plant, but I am actually growing this particular plant in a 6.5-inch planter, and it is doing very well. Now this plant is very versatile. You can grow it in lower light conditions like shade or full sun. Now if you give this particular ajuga plant full sun, it will give you beautiful variegation, actually more variegation. And then right over here, this is some type of ground cover succulent called sedum. Really nice looking texture of this, but this is definitely some type of ground succulent. This one is for $7.47. Really like the look of this one as well. And as I walk over here, more plants, and I know this is y'all's favorite. I don't know if you guys are gonna stop watching it when you hear me say Hedera helix, or Hedera helix is the correct way to say it for English ivy. This is a ground cover, and if you are new to my channel, yes, I do mispronounce Hedera helix instead of saying Hedera helix, because it was a mispronunciation that I started a little while back. Somebody corrected me, but for some reason my regular plant foldies really like me saying Hedera helix. And so that it's not really going to disappear. Hopefully that doesn't deter you guys from watching my plant content. It's just something I do for myself and so for my loyal plant foldies. So hopefully you'll bear with me. I will try not to say it as much. There was just one episode where I literally said Hedera helix like 22 times, but that's not going to be this video today, I promise. Anyways, here is another ajuga plant, variegated ajuga plant. This one is gorgeous. Look at that. So you've got purples, pinks, creams, and this one is for $4.37. I actually bought this a little while back, put it in a 6.5-inch planter, and it is growing, it is spreading, and I'm loving it. But notice this right here. I love variegation, especially cream, pink, purple variegation. Look at that. Do you see that almost white variegated leaf? Now, obviously, that may not last, but look at how healthy the roots are too. For $4.37, I'm going to go ahead and buy this. This looks like a Snow White waffle plant, but you know what? It's not going to be as finicky. Like literally, this looks like a Snow White waffle plant. If you haven't seen a Snow White waffle plant, it's basically an exotic angels plant that Costa Farms actually pushes out to a lot of big box stores. It's a more finicky plant. The ajuga plant is not, but I did want to go over here. So it looks like there is another palette of Japanese maples. I almost want to just buy all of these Japanese maples because I'm afraid that these Japanese maples may not actually make it to a good home. Now, the care tips for Japanese maples are they need to be grown. I would suggest not growing them in containers unless you are in more in weather that is actually more consistent, like California. Because if you try to grow Japanese maples in containers in Texas, it'll get too hot to where like even if you're watering the plant, the plant is literally boiling in its pot because it's like 100+ degree weather. So Japanese maples or Acer palmatum are typically better grown in the ground. And honestly, the best time to grow these Japanese maples and put them in the ground is actually earlier spring. It is getting a little bit too late to plant these in the ground, but I do intend to buy at least 2 of these Japanese maples. Like this one right here is an Acer palmatum, or I think it's an Acer dissectum, Crimson Queen. Look at how beautiful the lace leaf is on this. Now this is actually a more delicate Japanese maple because the leaves are a little bit more fragile looking, and it may not tolerate as nearly as hot condition as the bloodgood. But anyways, I wanted to also show you another personal plant of mine. Now this is my favorite Swedish ivy. I love Swedish ivy because it is so easy to grow. It is another plant that is typically grown outdoors in hanging baskets, but I am actually going to be growing this indoors. I've actually asked a lot of the plant nurseries whether this is a plant you can grow indoors. They said yes, as long as you can give it bright and direct light. But look at this. So I actually bought this plant out at Callaway's nursery. Again, it is a local nursery, and it was a lot smaller. Now it is starting to trail. So I can actually chop this up down here, make a couple of cuttings, stick it in water, and it will root. It will root just as easy as a coleus plant. So I have this actually in my front patio under the shade, and it is doing very well. This is called the Swedish ivy white edge, and you can see how beautiful this variegation is. It's such an easy plant, and I find growing plants outdoors a lot easier, even for plants that are meant to grow indoors. But I love the fact that this is a versatile plant. You can grow this indoors, so we're going to see if I can grow this indoors long term. I also love the fact that I can get free plants and save some more money on plants by propagating. So plant folies, what do you think about the Swedish ivy? I absolutely love it. It is one of my favorite plants because it's so easy to take care of. Literally, you just water it once a day. It's not finicky or fussy, but maybe that's because it is outdoors. It'll be interesting to see if I can grow this indoors. I actually have a yellow variegated one called Swedish ivy guacamole that I saw at the Great Outdoors, which is another local plant nursery out in Austin, Texas. But plant folies, what do you think about my Swedish ivy plant, the white edge? Isn't it lovely? And I only got it for $2.99, and it's already exploded in its growth. So love that. And you can see we're back indoors now. So we're inside this actual Walmart, and I have to commend this Walmart. It does keep its plants fairly healthy. There are quite a bit of plants, and I love the fact that they merchandise their plants very nicely. So they've got all these different tables. They're spread out. They're spread out to where you have enough space to just kind of freely walk around. They could actually get more plants and more tables if they really wanted to, just because they have so much space in this outdoor section. So we're just gonna walk over here and look at these plants, these tables of plants. I really love the round tables, and we can see, what do we have here? So we've got a bunch of Sansevieria snake plants, calatheas, begonias. We've got a bunch of cuddly cactus, Epipremnum aureum, golden pothos, philodendron pink princess, philodendron ring of fire, and all of those are sourced out by Growers Bench. So we've got Costa Farms plants and Growers Bench plants. So we're just going to take a look and see what plants we have available, at least in this table. I love the look at these plants right here, and you notice that there are so many Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. We've got some philodendron burke in there with some nice white variegated leaves, and then we have a classic Epipremnum aureum global green pothos. And then I'm just going to walk over here as well to show you all of the beautiful philodendron pink princess. These are by Growers Bench, and all of these philodendron pink princess are for $24.47. We've got blooming anthuriums. We've got a bunch of majesty palms, and we've got another Acer palmatum bloodgood. I'm actually going to go pick this up. I might actually get 3 now, just because look at this right here. 2 of them I'm going to actually gift to somebody, and we'll see if that'll grow in their landscape. They've got a lot of really tall trees, like some live oaks. So with Japanese maples, if you grow them as an understory tree under like a live oak or some type of tree that is really large to provide shade, it does very well. But you can see right over here, these are for $14.97 in a self-watering planter. Calathea medallion. Calathea medallion has some beautiful texture. It looks like feathers, and the purple undertones are really cool. Love calatheas, but they don't necessarily love me. A very finicky plant. They need to stay moist, so meaning that they have to have consistent watering, and they need higher humidity for their leaves to not brown. And here's another somewhat finicky plant, but not really. This is a Ficus lyrata, or a fiddle fig leaf plant. This one is for $14.97. And what's interesting about this plant is it can get as tall as 20 feet tall in the right conditions. And then over here, classic Begonia maculata. This used to be such an expensive plant. Like a plant this size about 3 to 4 years ago would cost about like $50. And now you can get it for $19.84 in a 6-inch planter by Costa Farms. So really excited about that. And then I also want to show you this. It looks like somebody changed their mind on this coleus plant. This one is for $6.97. It's a beautiful looking coleus plant. It's definitely got a different leaf texture about it and shape, but Needless to say, beautiful burgundy color. And then one of my favorite pothos, actually all the pothos are my favorite pothos. This is an Epipremnum aureum global green pothos for $19.84. Costa Farms trending tropical. Love the green on green variegation. In order to get that type of green on green variegation, you really want to provide it with a lot of bright indirect light. If you're growing them indoors and you don't have enough lighting to give it, just grow it under a grow light and you will get the best green on green variegation. And I would also assume for the philodendron Birkin right here, like look at how beautiful the leaves are. For a Walmart plant, I love this, and I really hope that somebody will pick this philodendron Birkin and really provide a great home for it. That's the thing whenever I go plant shopping as well, especially at Walmart. I just hope that, you know, the staff takes care of these plants. I am even willing to volunteer to put like water in these self-watering planters so they don't have to worry about watering them. I mean, that's how much love I have for plants. And even doing this plant journey where I'm literally blogging about plants, utilizing my plant shopping videos to just literally have a one-way conversation. At least you can't talk to me back, but at least if you're ever lonely or if you want somebody to just listen to talk about plants, definitely binge my plant content. I have a lot of playlists already that you can just check out on my channel. So if you want, you know, hours of me talking about plants, maybe educating you about plants, definitely check out the playlist, My Plant Foldies. You can do your plant chores, you can just relax. And then for those that have actually left comments for my plant videos saying that, you know, after a long days of work, you find my videos relaxing, thank you so much. That actually means a lot to me, and I appreciate that. And then right over here, we've got a philodendron pink princess. Look at that variegation. Actually, this is a really pretty good variegation on the philodendron pink princess. What you want to do now that philodendron pink princess is a more common philodendron, I would say it's a common philodendron because you can see it everywhere, is really looking for the variegation. So philodendron pink princess, I've said this in all of my videos in the past, their variegation is not necessarily influenced by the amount of light you give it. Some plants are, but it's actually influenced by the original genetics of a philodendron pink princess. So for instance, if you find one that doesn't have variegation on all of the leaves, then typically that philodendron pink princess may not push out as much variegation. So I would say now that the pricing has gone down for philodendron pink princess, be more selective. Just because you go into a store and then all of a sudden you find a philodendron pink princess, it doesn't mean you have to buy the philodendron pink princess if it's not the one for you. Now, obviously, if you still prefer to get a philodendron pink princess that's not as variegated and you're more of a fan of the dark foliage plant, by all means, definitely do that, because I've learned, even just interacting with the plant foldies and people who just love plants in general, everybody has their own plant aesthetic of what they like, what they grow, and you know, it's really interesting to learn from that. But you can see here, I do like that particular anthurium, the pink one. That is for $14.97. If you haven't caught on to this, I love pink plants. I love variegated plants. I love green plants, but anything pink or cream in its variegation, I am all about it. And any plant that's like actually super colorful, like coleus plants or aglaonema, I'm all about that as well. And then you can see right over here, we've got another anthurium. And then we also have a beautiful Dieffenbachia here for $9.97. I'll hand it to Walmart. All of the 6-inch planters that are actually being sourced from Costa Farms, I know Lowe's has them for $12.97. I believe that, you know, if Home Depot carries them, it would be around the same range. So $9.97 for a 6-inch starter planter is an amazing deal. And then you can see right over here by Grower's Bench, another cuddly cactus. This one is for $14.97. I love the terracotta look of this plant. Really I love the texture of that actual planter. It could work for me, but just the terracotta is really nice as well. And then over here, we've got some philodendron ring of fire. This one is actually a pretty small one. I would assume all of these philodendron ring of fires, philodendron pink princess that we see at these big box stores have just been mass produced and tissue cultured. But look at that variegation of this philodendron ring of fire. Mine isn't doing as well as it. It's not really declining in its health, but it's definitely not pushing any new growth. And I repotted it in a 8-inch planter. I know it might be a little bit larger, but it's actually a larger philodendron. When Growers Bench released this early in January, I was shocked, I was excited, I was ecstatic, I was happy because the actual philodendron ring of fires were a lot larger. Now these ones are not nearly as large, but I mean they've got beautiful variegation. Look at that, it's very much all over the plant. I also have a philodendron golden crocodile, which is basically just the yellow form of this plant. I am interested to see how big I can get this plant to grow, but if you are still in the hunt, and this is really sad here, like look at this, like you can see that the roots are still pretty good. I wish somebody could like rescue it. If they clearance this out, maybe I can go back on Tuesday if it's still around. I might ask for a discount and rescue it. But as you can see here, beautiful plant styling and merchandising. This particular Walmart is really good about that. So we're just going to be walking over to see what other plants that they have available here. And over here, we've got a beautiful Alocasia Ninja. It's sometimes mistaken as an Alocasia Black Velvet. This one is by Growers Bench again. This one is for $17.47. Really like the look of it. It's got a nice velvety texture about it. And this one is an Alocasia Cuprea. I have yet to get this Alocasia. It's an Alocasia I feel like is very delicate looking. It doesn't look as stable as some of these other Alocasias, but I have bought all of those fancy Alocasias as well, except the Alocasia Cuprea. And you can see they got some more uncommon philodendron, or should I say common now just because they're in a big box store. But you can see here, this is a beautiful philodendron white princess. This is for $24.47 again. Look at that variegation here, and you can see that this has been popping up at several big box stores. I've even seen this philodendron white princess out at Walmart and also out at Target. The Hilton Carter line has it, and you can see here, this is my personal plant. So this is my philodendron white princess that I potted up in a 8-inch planter. You know that actual Growers Bench plant? Well, I bought that same plant back in January, and notice how large this plant has gotten since January when I first bought it. I put it on a moss pole right here, so as you can see, there's a new growth point coming around. This is one of my favorite plants in my plant collection. So I haven't done a full-blown houseplant collection tour, but I am featuring some of my plants right here. I want to actually show you some of these plants when they're actually displayed. So I just literally have this on the floor, on my wooden floors. But as you can see here, what do you think about this philodendron white princess? Look at how large the leaves have gotten. I love the newest leaf right over here. It recently unfurled, and you can see that there is a splash of that white variegation here. Really love the look of this plant. I actually like the plant that this plant that it's not too variegated, because with a little bit more green variegation, it makes it a little bit more of a vigorous grower. There's more chlorophyll for the plant to actually photosynthesize, meaning that the plant will be a little bit more of a vigorous grower. But you can see right here, beautiful plant. And if you notice that very bottom leaf is a little bit more smaller, some of that variegation I had to trim back because it actually just crisp up and brown. So if you ever want to just make your plant look aesthetically pleasing, you can always cut the browning edges with a pair of scissors and it is okay. But I also notice how shiny and healthy looking the leaves are here. So I actually use what I now call as the foldy mist, the plant foldy mist, which is basically my DIY neem oil spray plus pest control spray that I make, which is basically 2 tablespoons of cold pressed neem oil, 2 tablespoons of rubbing alcohol, 2 tablespoons of hydrogen peroxide, a drop of Dawn dishwash soap, put it in a standard spray bottle, fill it up with water, shake, shake, shake. spray it, and you got a beautiful shiny plant like this, like absolutely beautiful looking philodendron white princess. Let me know what you think of my personal plant here. I am really proud that I've been able to grow this that large, and it was just as small as that one philodendron white princess that I showed you at Walmart. So you can see that I've been doing a lot of little commercial breaks. I hope you guys like the that I'm able to do that, and you can see, look at how beautiful that leaf is here. Anyways, so if you ever want to grow a plant like that size, I actually bought it at a big box store like Walmart, and you can see here, this is actually one of the best variegated looking philodendron ring of fires I've seen at a big box store at this particular Walmart. And I also wanted to show you another personal plant of mine. So this is a Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. This is the one that I bought from Sprouts grocery store out in McKinney, Texas. This plant was actually 99 cents. 99 cents. I repeat to you, this is a plant that I saved a lot of money because I happened to go into Sprouts, and they were trying to liquidate all of the fiddle fig leaves. They weren't necessarily declining in health. I believe they were just trying to sell them so they can make room for new plants. But as you can see here, I've had this plant for a little while now, and it has pushed out about 3 new leaves. The largest leaf was a newly unfurled leaf, and you can see that it's pushing out a new leaf as well. I love the natural shine of a fiddle fig leaf or fiddle fig tree, and I'm hoping that I can actually grow this into a full-blown tree. You know, for 99 cents, that is not a bad price at all. I mean, Plant Foldies, what do you think? I have used my Plant Foldy mist, which is another spray, and you can see right here this leaf fell off, but you know that leaf was ready to go. It was yellowing, but you can see here this is a beautiful looking Ficus lyrata. What do you guys think about my personal Ficus lyrata? You can see there is a new leaf growing, and we'll get some more footage of that, but I wanted to show you this. So excited that I was able to find all of these plant finds here. So this is a philodendron mayoi. Yes, a philodendron mayoi. Now this is a semi-juvenile form. As it gets more mature and grows up a pole, its leaves will fenestrate and become even more separated. And this is a philodendron silver sword. That is a beautiful philodendron silver sword. Again, I love the gray leaves on that. And then I picked this up right here. This is another philodendron white princess. Gorgeous variegation. You saw my philodendron pink princess and how large it's gotten over the last couple months. Really love this as well. I'm almost tempted to get another philodendron pink princess, perhaps this. That one is for $24.47. And then this is a philodendron ring of fire. Love the variegation. Now, if you're going to ask me about all of these plants that I'm showing you, every single philodendron I'm showing you right now needs bright and direct light. Now, I don't know what this particular plant is. I'm going to assume this is a philodendron or maybe an anthurium, but I think it's a philodendron. So Plant Foldies or anybody that's an expert, please let me know. I really, really want to know what that plant ID is because it is a new plant. It's the only philodendron or plant that I saw at this big box store Walmart because I actually found it on this shelf right here. So there was a lot of these different types of plants, and over here they've got another philodendron mayoi. Super excited. I haven't seen that at Walmart, and all of those plants are actually being sourced by Growers Bench. So thankfully, Growers Bench is actually putting out some uncommon plants as well, not just Costa Farms. Now, this is a Costa Farms plant right here. This is a Monstera Peru, sorry, but this is a beautiful philodendron mayoi. Now, this is for $24.47. If I already didn't have a philodendron mayoi that I bought at Home Depot by Proven Winners, I would definitely snatch this up. I actually might still get it because I love the look of this plant. I am looking for a variegated philodendron mayoi. I think those would be stunning. And I talked about getting a Monstera deliciosa, just a green form, because I don't really have a nice looking one anymore. The other one I had a long time ago ended up getting mealybugs, and I just couldn't continue to fight that battle. And I have one that I did propagate. It's living in my garage. I need to just stop plant abusing it and actually repot it, put it outside and let it grow. But this one actually has perfect leaves. For a big box store, typically when you go to a big box store like Lowe's, Home Depot, or Walmart, like whenever a new leaf unfurls, there's some damage, but this one, it does not. And so I am tempted to get this as well. It's actually unfurled 2 new leaves. That one's for like $24.97. I may come back for that on Tuesday when I'm off, but we will see. Again, when you think about, if you have a plant budget and you're spending $30 a day, $20 a day, that's $100 a week. If you're going plant shopping for 5 days straight, and that's that's $400 a month. That is a lot of money on plants. So again, plant foldies, let me know if you've spent that type of money. If you have gone broke. I am going broke here, and this is the reason why, you know, your viewership alone helps my YouTube channel grow. It helps me fund my channel. It helps me fund my plant obsession. So thank you for that. And then all over here, we've got some more trending tropicals. Now this is another type of alocasia. I don't know the name again. I think it's Alocasia regina. I think that's the name, but these are the same two I've seen a little while back. I may end up buying this because I ended up finding this alocasia actually out at Kroger, and they actually marked it down for $6.99. But this one right here is $19.84. I may get it just because I really like that gray bluish tone of this alocasia. Really nice looking alocasia. And what I found is with alocasia, they're a lot easier to grow when you grow them outdoors versus indoors. They're less susceptible to spider mites. For some reason, they have just a faster vigorous growth. And that could be said about some of the philodendron I've shown you. Like if you want to get your philodendron pink princess to grow, put it out in your back patio where there doesn't, you know, it doesn't hit direct sunlight, and it will be okay. Now I wanted to show you this. This is for $14.97. What do you think about this bromeliad right here? Isn't that stunning? It doesn't even look like a real plant, but it is obviously. I got my first bromeliad out at Kroger. It was on sale for $2.47. So, you know, it depends on where you go, but that is a beautiful looking I want to say philodendron. This is a bromeliad. So you've got two different types of bromeliads. You got one that's a little bit more pink. This one's got more a yellowish neon color about it. I love the stripes on this particular bromeliad. They are just gorgeous. And you know, this one right over here is another bromeliad. This one is a little bit more of a chocolate brown green tone about it. All of these bromeliads are only for $14.97. If I had the floor space for it, I would definitely buy all three. I think that these bromeliads are best viewed from the top, so you would want to put this plant more on the bottom level. And I went ahead and put it back on this shelf, but you can see they've just got a lot of different plants here. I love that this Walmart is always full. So my plant foldies, as I always say on all of my videos, please leave multiple comments, as many comments as you like on my YouTube video, especially after you watch the video or even throughout the video through with timestamps. And also, I know that a lot of my plant foldies, like Outdoors, / Travis, Luke, you guys always encourage people to hit the like button for my videos. If you are watching this video live or even just watching this, I really do ask that you guys hit the like button for my video if you enjoy my content, just because it really does help push my YouTube videos to even more plant lovers that may not have known about this channel. I really want to see this channel grow. I actually set a goal to possibly hit 10,000 subscribers by the 3rd week of May. And I can only get that if you guys are able to support me by, you know, engaging with me on this channel, maybe even sharing that on your social medias, your Facebooks with your friends, and also just a simple hitting the like button helps out a lot. But anyways, to get back to, you know, all of the plants instead of my shameless plug, look at these two different types of calathea. So this is a Calathea rospicta, and then the other one was a Calathea dotty. Love the dark foliage on both of them. The other one is the first one that I picked up was for $19.84, and then the other one that I just picked up last was $14.97. This one is a very not so variegated Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos. I can tell because it's got a little bit of yellow variegation and the leaves are a lot smaller. When you compare it to the global green pothos, the global green pothos has rounder leaves as compared to the lemon meringue pothos. It's got more of a narrow leaf. And then this is a random cordyline Hawaiian tea plant for $5.84. Now, I love this plant. If you grow it in full sun outdoors, it'll get those nice pink variegation. And then right over here, we've got a beautiful Monstera Cobra or Monstera Stadliana. That one's for $19.84. This hanging basket has been here for a while. This is a strawberry begonia. Love the silvery tone of this strawberry begonia. The colors are really nice, and I love that strawberry begonia shoot out those little babies. You can chop them off, stick them in water, propagate them, and you've got another free plant. So again, if you ever want to just save money, you know, the ways you can do it on plants is you can propagate your own plants. You can multiply your plants through propagation. You can join a community like grow folds where maybe people are willing to send you cuttings or even trade plants. Those are creative ways to get your plant collection up versus just going to a store and spending all your money. So I have done that before where I've, been given plant cuttings. I've done trades with people, and that's something I may potentially do with our community. I do intend to create a Facebook page for Grow Fold, so stay tuned for that. That way we can interact with each other even more. But for now, let's just continue to meet up on the live premiere chats. I have been very good the last week. Super proud of myself for getting a video up scheduled for 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, so you can plan your day ahead if you want to make sure that to make the plant chats. Love that as well. But you can see I've just showed you guys different types of plants. That is a Japanese Aurelia for $10.97. I may end up just buying that plant because I already have a Japanese Aurelia. It's the camouflage version, but again, big box store plant shopping. It's fun. It's easy. I do it every day. I will continue to make videos for you every day as long as you guys enjoy it. But these are my plant finds. Like literally, I would buy every single plant. So there's basically 6 plants here, and I am all about that. It's awesome. I've never really imagined seeing all of these uncommon philodendrons just being available at a big box store now. I remember even the philodendron silver sword was quite pricey, and now I was able to buy one actually for $6 at HEB, which is a local Texas grocery store, and now they have a philodendron mayoi. I don't know what this philodendron is, but part of me feels like this is going to be an uncommon or rare philodendron. So please let me know in the comments. I would really like to know the plant IDs, but I will be ending this video quite soon, so let me know what you think. And I'm just going to keep panning over this philodendron mayoi. Like, this is still the semi-juvenile form. You notice that the leaves start to get larger. And then look at this philodendron ring of fire. Plant foliage, what would you do? If you saw all of these philodendron right now clumped up like this, would you buy every single one for $24.47? That is 6 plants right here, each for $24.47. If I had the funds, I would definitely do it. I actually might buy this one. Somebody please give me the plant ID for this. I really want to know. But plant folies, what do you think about this Walmart? This Walmart is always a home run for me. They typically bring me plants. I found my philodendron golden crocodile here. I bought my philodendron pink princess, my philodendron white princess here. I already have a philodendron silver sword, and I got it for $6. So, and plant folies, let me know what you think. I know for those that love philodendrons, here it is right here in all its glory. That could be your new plant collection here. This could look like a Grow Folds plant collection. I mean, if you want to send me some funds, I would definitely take it. This is Richie at Grow Folds. See you tomorrow. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's off of Preston Road in Frisco, Texas. As always, please make sure you are following me on Instagram at GrowFolds if you want to connect with me directly, as well as making sure you are hitting the like button for this video. If you like this 1-hour plant shopping content, I do this daily, so please subscribe to my channel as well with all of the notification bell on. But as you can see, it is a beautiful day at Lowe's. I just got off of work, and I always want to go plant shopping and make plant shopping videos for all of our plant foldies. If you are new to my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies, and today this will be a little bit longer of a video because I wanted to just be able to have a longer live premiere. If you are watching this premiere live, just know that you can say hello on the live premiere chats. We've got a bunch of plant foldies on the last couple of days, and it's so exciting. But as you can see here, all of the Lowe's have all of these mandevilla flowers. We've got them in mixed containers with some cordyline Hawaiian tea plants. I really like the look of mandevilla flowers. These flowers are a tropical flower. These would require full sun, and they come in an array of different types of colors. And as you go into any Lowe's, they typically have a section where they just have a table full of plants. You can see over here, this is a Scindapsus trubii moonlight. This one is by Costa Farms for 1984. This is a trending tropicals plant. This is a plant I need to add to my collection. There's a lot of plants I need to add to my collection. It's just a matter of when I get the funds and also when I get the time to be able to take care of them. And you can see right over here, Calathea rospicta. I do like the look of this one. This has more of a gray metallic look about it. Calatheas are very much a finicky plant. They've got beautiful foliage, don't get me wrong, but the care for Calathea is just a little bit more challenging. You can see this beautiful purple tone about this. Calatheas require bright indirect light. They require a little bit more higher humidity. So if you have a humidifier in the room, that should suffice. And when you're watering Calatheas, you never really want their soil to dry out completely because they will crisp up. So that's, you know, my experience with Calatheas. And over here is an easy to care for plant. So this is an Aglaonema pink Siam, an Acosta Farms trending tropical plant. This is also for 1984. This isn't a self-watering plant. I love the Aglaonema pink Siam because you can see that the edges of the leaves have a pink tone about it. And I also like the fact that the stems are pink. I love pink plants, and that's one plant I definitely have in my collection. Here is an Aglaonema green papaya. So as you can see, they've got different types of Aglaonemas. There are hundreds of varieties of Aglaonemas. One of the easiest plants to take care of. And speaking of easiest plants to take care of, Epipremna aureum pothos. This is a golden pothos. This one is for $15.96 in a Costa Farm self-watering planter. I believe that most people start growing indoor house plants through a golden pothos. I think that most people start out with the golden pothos. If you are going to start growing plants indoors, I would highly recommend getting a golden pothos. They're easy to propagate. You can literally cut that piece right over there, that right underneath that node, put it in water, and you've got another free plant. Again, this is only for $15.96 at Lowe's. Most big box stores have golden pothos. Actually, any store will have a golden pothos. And then right over here is for $22.98. This is a Monstera deliciosa, sourced out by Costa Farms. Beautiful looking plant. It did have a little bit of leaf damage, but you know, Monstera deliciosa is a pretty vigorous grower. And you can see here we've got a bird of paradise. That plant requires a lot of bright indirect light. And then one of the easiest plants to take care of, this is a ZZ plant. Look at that new growth that the ZZ plant has. I love that neon new growth it has. I love plants that have that bright color. I have been on a big hunt for just pink plants, dark foliage plants, and neon plants, but you can see right here that is not a bad price at all. And I do like the fact that Costa Farms has really stepped its game in terms of just the catch pots. So the planters that are put in for the grower pot, I do like some of the textures. It's got a modern contemporary look about it. You know, if you're gonna ask me what my plant styling would be, it would really be more on the simplistic side. So I like planters that are more matte, smooth surfaces, clean lines. I don't really like a lot of patterns or textures, but that's just my personal preference. As you can see right here, we've got a Pachira aquatica by Costa Farms again. Look at that beautiful leaf right here. I love how the leaves the baby leaves just unfurl like that. Beautiful plant again. This is also known as a money tree plant. I see these in braided forms, but honestly, I'm not as big of a fan of the braided forms. I like them to just grow naturally, and these plants can grow very large in the natural environment. They can get up to like 60 feet tall, and they live near more like swampy areas. And then over here, we've got some more Monstera deliciosas, golden pothos, and some Scindapsus true by moonlight. So I'm gonna walk over here and see what kind of plants that they have. This is a Lowe's in Frisco, Texas that I absolutely love. I'm based in North Dallas, so the majority of my plant shopping videos will be in North Dallas. And as you can see here, I'm just gonna pan out and show you how full and how organized this Lowe's is. I appreciate this Lowe's. They've got such a good collection of plants. I love how they have everything merchandised, and obviously they've got a lot of Phalaenopsis orchids, large foliage plants, and it just looks like a nice little paradise. And I'm just going to show you guys all the different types of plants. I will also delve into the outdoor plants Since it is spring, I like to mix up all of the plant content that I have. So I want to talk about plants also outdoors. But for now, we're going to talk about all of these beautiful orchids right here. Phalaenopsis orchids. Now, all of these are sourced out by Costa Farms. And I tell you what, Costa Farms is just really doing so good with just getting all of the different types of plants available for all of us plant lovers. Plant foldies, I can almost guarantee you somebody watching this video has a Costa Farms plant. And you can see here, they've just sourced out so many beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids. It reminds me, I need to water my variegated Phalaenopsis orchids. I have been very bad about just not watering my plants. I think it's because I've been really busy with work, and I've also been very busy with making YouTube videos. I am one of the plant channels on YouTube that really strives to do 1 hour plant shopping videos daily with a live premiere chat. So if you haven't already and you found my channel for some reason, please make sure you are hitting the subscribe button. Also adding all of the notification bell so you can be able to join us during a live premiere chat. It is a lot of fun. I really appreciate all of the people that have tuned in. Everybody is welcome. We've got different types of age groups just tuning into the plant foldy community. I do intend to create a Facebook group for our Grow Folds Plant Foldies, so we'll take a look at that. But over here, we've got an alternanthera, I think that's how you pronounce it. This one's actually on clearance. This is actually not an indoor plant, although I am thinking about trying to grow this indoors. This one is actually on clearance for 50% off, so this would be $2.50. I might actually buy that plant. I really like the neon foliage on it. And then you can see right here, so Live Trends is a beautiful nursery that sources out some very modern looking planters. It's very stylish indeed. This is a highly variegated zebra plant. Look at that. It almost has a ghostly look about it. It is one that I would actually add to my collection, this particular look. I do like the planter as well. This end cap of just Live Trends and Urban Jungle on all of the Lowe's that I've visited, it's just absolutely stunning. I do like that Lowe's really showcases these hanging baskets. Love all of these Urban Jungle planters as well. I don't mind the texture of this one. It's a really nice looking texture. And you can see here, we've got a beautiful Scindapsus type plant. I'm not sure specifically what it is, but these are for $13.98 again in a hanging basket. Love that. And then look at this beautiful Epipremnum aureum. Enjoy pothos is one of my favorite pothos. And when you look at the variegation very closely, look at how stunning that is. Oftentimes it's mislabeled as a pearls and jade pothos, but I can guarantee you this is an enjoy pothos because it's got high contrast variegation. You've got the white variegation with the contrast of the green. There's not really a gradation of colors. Beautiful plant, and what I love about it is it's not a pothos that will revert. And then this one right over here is a beautiful Philodendron heteroraceum, Brazil. Classic philodendron that most people will see. And what I've learned is the light actually influences the variegation. So the more light you give it, typically the leaves will be a little bit more yellow. I love the look of this. And then just the shape of this actual plant is absolutely gorgeous as well. That heart-shaped leaf, very easy to propagate. And then again, here is another beautiful Epipremnum aureum Marble Queen pothos. Love that cream variegation that Marble Queen pothos has. All pothos plants and even Philodendron heteroraceum, Scindapsus, all of these hanging baskets that you're seeing, very easy to care for plants. Plants I would recommend for any beginner plant parent. If you're going to go get you a first plant, I would pick any of the plants that I've just picked up today. And you can see right over here, more hanging baskets. And it's fairly priced well considering that the planter is very stylish. And then right over here, we've got some Dracaenas. Dracaenas, I say this in every single video that I feature. Dracaenas, very underrated plant, and I just really wish for us plant parents, folks that grow plants, to really consider growing Dracaenas. And then over here for $23.98 is a glass fixture with some air plants. I think it's a little bit overpriced, but for those that want that stylish look, there it is. And then over here we've got a Philodendron Birkin. This one is by Urban Jungle, It's also for $13.98. That's a fairly decent looking philodendron Birkin. Actually, it's not $13.98. It's $18.97 because it's a self-watering planter. They've released an end cap full of these, self-watering planters. And right over here, Dracaena Janet Craig compacta. Beautiful plant. It's a green plant. It can tolerate lower light conditions. It doesn't really need to be watered as often. Very easy to take care of plant. And then right over here, we've got a Peperomia obtusifolia, just a green variety. When you touch the Peperomia obtusifolia foliage, it's got a waxy texture. It reminds me of a Hoya plant. And over here, Alocasia dragon scale, beautiful plant. It looks like it's lost some of its soil, but look at how beautiful that texture of the leaves are. I love the fact that I can find some uncommon Alocasia at Lowe's, and this one is for $18.97. But you know what, if I really wanted to buy this plant, I would kind of haggle for a cheaper price because half of the soil is gone. Sometimes Lowe's will discount plant pricing. It just really depends. It doesn't hurt to ask for a discount. I have done that in the past, and sometimes I'll get a discount because sometimes the plant is really not in the best shape and should be clearanced out. I'm debating on whether I should get this plant just because it is a beautiful plant. It did have some leaf damage. I don't like the top dressing they use of that fake moss. I really just think that they should just leave it as soil, but I love the feel of the planters as well. It's got a very modern, simplistic feel about it. And that's the thing about growing plants. Not only do plants become beautiful with just a certain planter, you really have to just be very mindful about what that style is for your plants. Some people have very eclectic taste when it comes to planters. For me, I'm a little bit more on that conservative side where I really just like simplistic lines, very neutral colors. Unless it's pink, I could do pink. And that's just really what it looks like. I do want to go show you guys my plant collection indoors and also outdoors. I featured a couple of clips of some of my personal plants already. And if you get a chance, please leave a comment on what you think about my personal plant collection and also this plant right here that I personally have. This is an Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. What a gorgeous looking pothos. And again, with a neon pothos, you really have to provide it with a lot of bright indirect light for it to really remain that yellow neon color. If you provide it with lower light conditions, it will start to just be a little bit more green. I wouldn't say it would revert back to all the way green, but it will not be as yellow as that one. That's a beautiful plant. That one is also by Urban Jungle. And then you can see right here another Urban Jungle plant. Love the actual planter it's in. This is a ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf juvenile form. This was for $13.98. I love the feel of that planter. It's actually a very high quality, and that plant looks very healthy. And then as you can see over here, we've got some golden pothos, but look at this. So here is a gorgeous looking Alocasia poly. I think it's an Alocasia poly, a juvenile form, but look at how full it is. It's got maybe one or two plants in it for $13.98. Now, I wasn't intending to buy an Alocasia, but now I'm a little bit on the fence on whether I should just pull the trigger and spend some more money on plants. I tell you that these plant shopping videos, I literally get off of work and go to a big box store and film plants. It is such a challenge to not add plants because, I mean, if you were in my shoes and you picked up this Alocasia poly, yes or no, would you add this to your plant collection? Would you buy it? I mean, it's only for $13.98. It is a very healthy looking plant. Although Alocasias are a little bit more of a challenging plant to grow, I still love looking at them and adding them to my collection. And over here, we've got a Homolamena Shelby, and I said it right, Homolamena. Wow, that is a tongue twister. Shelby, this is another plant that has been popping up at big box stores. Lowe's has been showing this, and I love this plant. I would like to add it to my collection, but I've been told that Homolamena Shelby is a little bit more of a finicky plant. When I touch the leaves, it has the texture of like a Scindapsus. If you were to think about it, these leaves are similar to a Scindapsus, the texture of the leaves. I would just say like these are giant Scindapsus leaves. With Homolamena, you do need to provide with bright indirect light. Specifically for that Shelby variety, you do need to give it a little bit more higher humidity. It doesn't really like drier environments. And you can see here as I pan over, more Urban Jungle planters. Love that all of these are assorted and for only $13.98. You can see right over here, this is a Ficus elastica Bergen. burgundy. Love dark foliage plants. This is a beautiful plant as well. And with all of these small Ficus elasticas or rubber tree plants, just know that they will not stay that size forever. Give it about 2 to 3 years and they will become a full-blown tree. That's what happened to my Ficus elastica burgundy. So just make sure that you're mindful that they won't really be that size in this size planter. But you can see here, beautiful Peperomia obtusifolia. This is also the marble version. I see this often at a grocery store called Kroger for $9.99. So if you want to spend $13.98, you're really spending the money on that, you know, high quality terracotta planter. Love the look of it. I also love the variegation. Peperomia obtusifolia is an easy to care for plant. It just it likes bright indirect light, obviously, because you want to like increase that variegation. The variegation on that particular plant is really more influenced by the amount of light you give it. And then as we look over here, look at this, more plant finds, more plant discoveries. Here is another Alocasia dragon scale. I'm actually going to buy an Alocasia. I might end up buying two. I might end up buying all of the Alocasia I find. But look at how beautiful that is. Love the leathery texture it has, and look at how shiny it is. It looks very metallic. This is also for $13.98. Again, my plant foldies are the ones that are just watching this video. Would you buy this Alocasia for $13.98? Like, I really want to hear all your comments in the comment section. So please take the time to do that. Which one would you buy? Would you buy that poly or the Alocasia dragon scale, or would you buy both? So I would like to know, and that's the thing that's really fun about this plant shopping video that I do every single day, is hearing your insights either through the live premiere chats, or if you want to hashtag team replay it and not watch the live premiere, just leave me some comments. That's one thing that really drives me to continue to make these plant shopping videos. You know, somebody had asked me how long it takes for me to make an actual episode or a plant shopping video. Total time typically takes about 5 hours in my day, because you got to think, I got to film the plant for an entire hour or more, then do a voiceover, then edit, then save the actual video, which takes literally an hour, and then upload. So lots of effort does go into these plant videos, but I do appreciate that our plant community is growing. I am actually surprised and shocked that you all continue to tune into my plant shopping videos, considering I showcase a lot of the same plants on a daily basis. Not sure if you just like me talking about plants. I can talk to you about plants all day. Ask me any questions. Let me know what you want to see. All of that good stuff. But one thing I love seeing anytime I go big box store plant shopping is seeing this beautiful Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess. This one is by Costa Farms, and I do like that they have the smaller hanging baskets. It's a little bit more cost effective. This one is only for $16.98, and I have found a new appreciation for Hoyas, specifically for two factors. One, I visited the PlantCon 2024 plant convention out in Houston, Texas, where I saw a bunch of uncommon and rare Hoyas. I didn't realize that there were so many varieties of Hoyas. And then number two, when I went to Plant Keeper Incorporated, which is a local plant nursery out in Dallas, one of my top 3 favorite nurseries, I saw a variegated Hoya compacta in bloom, and those pink flowers were absolutely stunning. So I might end up becoming a Hoya head. My current plant obsessions would be Aglaonema. Love Aglaonema. It's very easy to care for plant. And then Coleus plants. So I know that a lot of people will think of Coleus as a basic like patio plant, landscape plant, but there are so many varieties, and I am just collecting Coleus plants. So that's the thing about my plant shopping videos. I get to see all of these plants, and it's one of those things where I hope I can expose you to different types of plants. Like obviously we're looking at this Pachira aquatica right here, or money tree plant. If I am going to buy a Pachira aquatica, even the green variety does look nice. I'm going to save some money to get me a really good variegated Pachira aquatica. There are certain plants that I want to treat myself to, and even though they are a little bit more on the pricey side, I don't necessarily buy plants for the pricey or rare conditions of plants. You know, some people literally will just, buy any type of philodendron because it's considered rare or uncommon. Although these days, I feel like plants are not really rare. If you wait about a year or two, plant pricing will always go down. I mean, you got to think, right? Philodendron Pink Princess is an example. Philodendron Pink Princess, about 3 to 4 years ago, one leaf, one node cutting would be over $100. Now you can go to a big box store like Walmart and buy them for less. And I actually found them at Trader Joe's right now for $7. So if you have a Trader Joe's, which is an awesome grocery store, one place that I also buy plants, check that out. But that goes to show plant pricing. It doesn't matter how rare a plant is. If it brings you joy or if it attracts you, like this Philodendron Hederaceum, I will take this Philodendron Hederaceum lemon lime any day over some type of rare philodendron. Well, I digress. I might do that, but for the most part, it's a beautiful plant. And sometimes people sleep on plants that are not as rare because it's just not rare. I do like variegated plants, but I also think that we should appreciate just the normal green plants. They're more vigorous. They're typically easier to grow. I mean, even this one right here, this has a lot more green about it, but look at the texture of the leaves. I haven't really ever run into this plant right here. I don't know a lot about the plant care tips about this plant. I would assume it's similar to a lipstick plant or a Hoya, bright indirect light, but look at how beautiful that texture on the leaves are. It's got that dark green and even just the patterning of it. It is amazing to just look at plants and really just admire nature's way of providing beautiful greenery. And it's really exciting to see that we've got different types of age groups watching my plant shopping videos. You know, we've got people in their teens, we've got people, just all sorts of people that enjoy plants. And again, plants are a universal commodity. I think people in general should have greenery in their homes. It's really good for our moods. It's really good for our mental space. And it's just really good to have plants because it teaches us discipline. You know, one thing I learned about plants, and I know that I'm randomly rambling on about plants, but you know, I like to share you guys my thoughts. But I think plants, for the most part, should be part of our daily lives. I think we should have plants in our indoor spaces because I found plants, especially in times where I was extremely stressed or may have had some hardships. When I look at a green plant and it's looking very lush and full, and I realize that there is a lot of time that you put effort into it, it teaches us patience, but it also gives us a reward of knowing that it took a while to grow a plant. It's happy. Now, plant parenting, like if you look at this Rex begonia, for instance, beautiful looking Rex begonia, right? And this one is for $16.98. The thing about it is plant parenting is literally like being a parent. I don't have children myself, so I can't really speak on that. But the amount of effort you have to place into a plant, the amount of love and care you have to give a plant, it's not an easy task at times, especially if you are like me, where I literally want to just buy every single plant. Like even this right here, Golden Pothos or Epipremnarium Golden Pothos, beautiful plant, very easy to care for plant, but it's still a plant that if you neglect it long enough, it will die. So knowing your time, the time constraints you have in your day-to-day life. For me, I'm a salaried manager and I typically work 10-hour days. So when you think about 10-hour days plus your everyday life with the people that you love, and then mixing it up with your YouTube, the YouTube channel that I'm doing and other hobbies, it can be a little hectic. And even then, sometimes my plants suffer because I am guilty of this in terms of not watering them. That is my biggest drawback of just being able to take care of my plants. I really wish there was just a way to take care of plants indoors where the watering can just be taking care of themselves. That's why I feel like self-watering planters or hydroponics is an easier way to take care of plants. I have converted a lot of my plants, for instance, that are calatheas and plants that are really thirsty into just straight water, and it's done well for me. Anyways, let me get back to all of the plants that we're talking about here. Beautiful looking strawberry begonia. I love strawberry begonia because it's got a metallic texture on the leaves, but you see these little strings, those are baby begonias that you can propagate. You can literally just cut that string off, put that in water, and within a week it will root. And that's the thing I love about plants. Part of my criteria, and I talk about this often in all of my plant shopping videos, is what attracts me to plants is typically how easy care can they be. So if they can tolerate lower light conditions, most importantly, can they be a little bit more drought tolerant? Because I know as a plant person, I don't water my plants often. And then number 3, the propagation potential. If you can propagate a plant easy and make free plants, I mean, that's all the more to buy a plant. And then I'm going to just step out here and spend a little bit more time on the outdoor section. I will go back to the indoors and show you guys the indoor tropical plants. So I hope you guys will stick around for the full video. But you can see here, they've got a Dieffenbachia. I haven't really talked about Dieffenbachia as much, as well as an Aglaonema. This is an Aglaonema white rain. Love the white stems specifically on Aglaonema. And that's the thing about Aglaonema. I was able to import some Aglaonema from Indonesia. Thailand have some amazing Aglaonemas. And I feel like in the United States, which is where I'm based at in North Dallas, Aglaonema varieties haven't really made the market. So perhaps that's the reason why nobody really is running to a big box store or a plant nursery or even a plant convention like PlantCon 2024. There were so many beautiful Aglaonemas I've never seen, but not a lot of people were buying it. I suggest Aglaonemas because they have beautiful coloration and they're very easy to take care of. They can tolerate lower light conditions. And just like lower light conditions, like that peace lily right there can take lower light conditions. This Ficus lyrata or fatal fig leaf will not take lower light conditions. Actually, it is considered a finicky plant. Ficus plants in general, if you're going to have any type of ficus plants, a couple of things you need to remember about ficus plants. Number 1, lighting conditions. They need bright indirect light. Number 2, consistency. So make sure that you're consistent on the watering, the pest control. And then number 3, find a spot that has a lot of bright indirect light and leave it there. If you move your ficus around too much, it will drop its leaves. And then over here, I know plant foliage, you guys have been asking for more succulents and cactus. So I am going to try to feature that. I'm just going to go pan over here and show you all of these arrangements. You can see that that is a jade plant. Specifically, you guys have asked me to show some jade plants. So here we are, but these are succulents for any occasion. So I really like the fact that they have different types of planters. Mother's Day is just around the corner. So for those that want to give their mother a nice gift, I would say a succulent or some type of house plant. Plants bring people joy. I wish my mom was actually into plants as much as I am. My grandmother is into plants. She is literally the source of my plant obsession. The reason why I know a lot about plants. I learned a lot about plants for over the years from her. And then over here, you can see this is actually one of my favorite types of Crusala or jade plants. This is a Crusala obliqua tricolor. This specific succulent will actually get sun stress. So if you give it like a lot of light, you'll see more pink variegation. That's the sun stressing it gives. And then you can see here tons of assorted different types of succulents. I don't know a lot about succulents, but the one thing that will attract me to a succulent is the variegation. So if we got this right here, look at the edging of this particular succulent. Really nice look on that. And then also pink succulents. I am a sucker for pink plants. The previous live premiere I did was featuring some of the plant finds that were pink. There are a bunch of outdoor plants that you can potentially grow indoors. And so I ended up just buying a bunch of pink plants that I probably didn't need to buy, but I digress again and just say you can never have enough plants. If the plant is going to give you a lot of joy, why not? And then you can see here, that is another beautiful Crusala. This is a Crusala lemon and lime. That's a beautiful one. And you can see here, look at this. They've got some succulents that are in blooms. Look at that right there. They've got some flowers here. So anytime you see a plant that is in bloom, typically that means that plant is well established. It is growing in the right lighting conditions, growing conditions, and it's happy. So it's really nice to see plants in bloom. However, if you're going to grow an indoor plant, specifically for its foliage, when it blooms, you need to cut the blooms because the blooms require a lot of energy from the plant. And then right over here, we've got some hanging basket of some type of peperomia. So peperomias are very similar to succulents. So I'm not surprised that it is in the succulent area. That is a beautiful hanging basket. And then you can see right here, let's see what else that they have available. So they got all of these little beautiful wind chimes. And let's see. Oh, yep, here we go. So plant folies, I found me some more variegated string of hearts in hanging baskets. Look at that. Isn't that stunning right there? Look at that one string that is just literally has like highly variegated plants What a beautiful trailing plant. I love this a lot, and I love the pink undersides. This is only for $12.97. For this full basket of variegated string of hearts, this is definitely one of the best sales for a plant, and that is the reason why you have to go to different big box stores. You have to like price different plant pricing. Sometimes a local plant nursery can be cheaper than a big box store, but today, hands down, I don't think you can find a variegated string of hearts for $12.97. That is extremely cheap for this beautiful plant. This one is all tangled up. Somebody probably just moved that around, but I ended up buying that the other evening, and I'm just happy to see that a lot of the Lowe's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, specifically the North Dallas area, so I would say Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, North Plano, West Plano, Allen, definitely check out those Lowe's locations. You may be able to find some big box store. It's like Lowe's that will carry that. But look, here is another variegated string of hearts. So plant folies, let me know what you think about the variegated string of hearts. I knew a couple years back everybody wanted a variegated string of hearts. What I like about variegated string of hearts is it is easy to propagate, and for a succulent it is very fast growing, and I like that a lot. You know, vigorous growth is a plus, and that's the reason why I love coleus, because you can literally chop up a coleus, give it about a week and a half, and it's got new growth, and it's even become more bushy. And then over here, I'm going to show you this. This is a beautiful Crusala. I believe, you know, jade plants are also a beautiful plant. They remind me of my childhood, and this one specifically is the Crusala Golem. This one is for $6.97. As I was growing up, my grandmother planted a bunch of jade plants. Jade plants can actually be converted into bonsai. So I actually have a variegated bonsai jade plant that is doing very well. And you can see right here, this is another Echeveria for $6.98. I really like the ruffles on the edges of the leaves, and I love the pink borders around this particular succulent. So the thing about succulents is I assume that succulents like really hot weather, but according to this lady that I met out at PlantCon 2024, and by the way, if you are new to this channel and watching my videos, or have just discovered my channel through this video, please definitely take a look at the PlantCon 2024 video. It is an hour-and-a-half tour of a lot of the plant vendors. So if you've never been to an international plant convention, definitely check that out. Was really excited to be able to go down to Houston to check it out. And I learned from one of the plant vendors who happens to specialize in succulents that, especially at least in North Dallas, when we get like 100+ degree weather in the summertime, they do not like to be in such hot weather, even if they are a succulent. So that was something that I discovered about succulents. I just assumed that you could just literally put them out in the heat, not water them, and pretty much give them a desert environment and they will do well, but that is not necessarily the case. But you can see right over here, this is a hen and chicks type of succulent. Look at how beautiful this is. And when you look at the webbing, it's just amazing how nature just has those very subtle or minute details in the plant. And then right over here, this is another Crusala or jade plant right here. I know that you've asked me to show you guys some more jade plants, specifically for my plant foldie, Kathy, who is based out in Kathy. Hello, Kathy. I really hope that your Hoya compactas rescues are doing well, but I have a lot of Canadian plant foldies, and what I find interesting is I didn't realize that our big box stores in the United States, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, are a little bit more full than some of the plants you guys get. I hope that in Canada, you guys will still get the same type of plants that I'm showing. Otherwise, at least you can live vicariously, or, you know, go window plant shopping through my videos. And I'm telling you, I am shocked that you guys continue to go watch my plant shopping videos. I feel like sometimes I'm just literally rambling on about plants, but I don't know, it just brings me a lot of joy, you know, like even showing you this. I'm just happy that I was able to find this like variegated string of hearts, and I'm going to continue to show you guys different plants in the outdoors. Obviously, I have featured Lowe's quite often in my videos. I do intend to go to some more Walmarts. I want to show you guys more local plant nurseries in Dallas-Fort Worth, but based on just some of the views I've seen, it doesn't seem like everybody is as interested in local plant nursery tours. I will still do them because I feel like diversifying my content. There's only so many Lowe's and Home Depots and Walmarts and other like big box stores that I can go to. I definitely want to keep you guys entertained and show you guys plants, but as you can see right here, I find this interesting. So Proven Winners has a bunch of different types of plants. So I'm going to assume that it's got a coleus plant and lantana. Lantana requires a lot of bright, full sun, and then coleus, typically like this, are typically known to just be grown in the shaded areas, but maybe these are sun coleus, because if you're going to put a coleus plant and a lantana in a container, they really have different type of lighting requirements, so it may not necessarily work. But I trust that Proven Winners probably has a hybrid. Those coleus probably can take full sun, because coleus have now been hybridized to where they can take full suns. Typically they can't. It's kind of the same thing like with impatient flowers. They have what they call sun patience, that they can take full sun versus the original plant impatient. But you can see right over here, a full basket or full planter of dahlia. Thank you to Alice, another plant foldie, that has given me some more insights about dahlias. I was really thinking that dahlias could be a perennial in my growing zone, which is 8A North Dallas, and I want to grow some more perennials. Now, for those that don't know what perennials or the term perennials means, it means that you can grow a plant in your landscape depending on your growing zone. So do your research on your growing zone, and that plant will grow a whole season, spring, summer, and fall, and then die off in the winter. And then in the spring or maybe early summer, they will come back. And I think that's a really cost-effective way to grow plants. If you're not going to have an evergreen plant, at least find yourself a perennial plant. That way you don't have to worry about having to plant or buy another plant year after year. Like, I love annuals, but I'm thinking that perennials is probably going to be the more cost-effective way for me to grow a beautiful garden long term. But you can see here lots of beautiful plants. They've got mixed planters, and I wanted to take a small segment of this video to show you guys some Acer palmatum, or what I would call Japanese maple. So more about me. I love Japanese maples. I am also a maple collector, even if it's not Acer palmatum. I just like different types of maples. I found myself obsessing over maples about 2 years ago. A lot of my maples are actually bought from Metro Maples, which is a local Fort Worth nursery specializing in Japanese maples and ginkgos. And also a shout out to MrMaple.com. I have been buying maples from them mail order for about 7 years, and they have some really good plants. I was actually able to meet the Nichols brothers, Matt and Tim Nichols, of Mr. Maple out in Fort Worth. Very humble gentlemen. Very happy that I was finally able to meet them. You know, I have been Instagram friends with them for about 7 years, and it's just crazy that I finally met them in person, and they were super kind. But as you can see right here, lots of Japanese maples. Japanese maples, for the most part, need filtered light. They're better as an understory tree. So if you have a big tree like maybe a live oak, a really large sycamore tree, or some tree that can get very large, you can grow Japanese maples as an understory tree. They definitely can't take full sun, otherwise their leaves will burn. And if you look at this one right here, this is an Acer palmatum crimson queen, and these are lace leaf maples. And typically lace leaf maples, or maples that are dissectums, are a lot more finicky in terms of hot weather. So it is a bit of a challenge to grow Japanese maples. And you can see right here, this is a really large Japanese maple. This is called an ukigumo, and ukigumo actually has very white variegation. Now in Texas, I doubt that would really be the case, especially since it is a little bit hotter weather for us. So actually it's definitely hotter than maybe being able to grow a Japanese maple in like the Pacific Northwest. But as you can see here, lots of large palms. This is a massive outdoor section by Lowe's. So we're just going to walk around here and see what plants, other plants that they have available. Like, I love looking at Japanese boxwood. I like the fact that you can actually shape them, and you can see they've got some columnar type junipers. And then over here, lots of mixed planters for a patio garden, or maybe, you know, a swimming pool in your backyard. You can see right over here, look at this. They've got a canna lily and then some more coleus plants. Now the canna lily, definitely needs to be in full sun. So I'm assuming, based on just the care tips, these coleus plants are meant to grow in full sun. I do like the fact that there is such a biodiversity with plants now. Like, you can hybridize plants for a specific trait. And, you know, I've seen some certain roses be thornless. You know, rose bushes are typically known to be thorns, but, you know, have a lot of thorns. But now I'm finding roses that don't have thorns. I'm also finding bougainvillea, which are usually thorny. Some bougainvillea varieties also don't have thorns. So it's not a surprise to me to see, you know, coleus plants be hybridized, or just plants in general for specific traits. But you can see here, if you want instant gratification and you're not really good about doing mixed planters or doing a mixed planter, just go to Lowe's or a big box store. They have really made it easy to where you have like a mixed planter. And you can see right here, there's just so many plants. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself. I don't even know what to do with my wallet, because my wallet literally has a hole in it, and all of that money is literally just falling off. Because look at this coleus right here. Like, I could even settle for just a cutting of that coleus and I would be fine. Beautiful looking coleus plant. It's got that orange variegation, and I definitely want to show you guys my coleus plant collection that I have, because I have pretty much bought every single coleus I run into, and they're growing very well. But you can see here, look at this. You can actually take several cuttings from this particular planter and actually have even more free plants. That's the thing, plant foldies. Like, do you just like to propagate plants to get free plants? Or are you like me, that I just like to create new life? Speaking of new life, this brings me a lot of life. Look at this bougainvillea, variegated bougainvillea. This is called the raspberry ice. Look at how beautiful that is. I am going to definitely buy one of these. This is for $26.98. And with this high variegation on the leaves, you would think that it would need to be in shade. Nope, it is a bougainvillea. And actually, I've never seen the lavender version. This is actually a rare one. I probably should buy this one as well. This is for $26.98. And I could actually make this into a bonsai, bougainvillea bonsai. Love that variegation, but I also love the lavender blooms on this particular bougainvillea. But anyways, it is a highly variegated plant, but you know what? This variegation can take full sun. It actually needs to be in full sun in order for it to really thrive. This is a beautiful plant. You know, I am a little bit jealous of like certain growing zones. I've been able to see full walls covered with bougainvillea flowers. And that was out in California by Carmel by the Sea. They just had some beautiful walls of bougainvillea. Unfortunately, in North Dallas, we get very harsh winters where it freezes, and bougainvilleas are not plants that can really take very cold weather. It is a tropical plant. They do very well in Mediterranean type environments. But you can see here, this already has the makings of potentially becoming a bonsai. I would just need to trim it back a little bit and really wire it and shape it. But I don't know, plant foldies, should I buy this? Should I go back and buy this? This is only for $26.98. Let me know in the comments. I mean, look at that variegation there. It's absolutely stunning. I love variegated plants. I think most of us are into variegated plants. I mean, it's not a secret that most plant, growers, they are also attracted to variegation. But I don't blame you, especially when you look at that bougainvillea. Look at how highly variegated it is, and it can take full sun. Now, bougainvillea also prefer to be more on the more drought side. If you actually don't water it nearly as much, it will actually bloom more, because bougainvilleas will start to think that they're on the brink of death, meaning it needs to push out more flowers to try to reproduce itself. So I always find that an interesting tidbit about bougainvillea. I didn't really believe it until I did that, to where like I literally didn't water my bougainvillea to the point where it was on the brink of death, but it was just shooting at more flowers. And I thought that it was really interesting. Just changing the types of environment a plant has, whether it's lighting conditions, watering conditions, temperature, it really does impact the plant's, overall look, variegation, health. But you can see here, I'm just going to walk over and just show you some more plants and kind of take a break from just all of the plant commentary. Just let me know what you think of these plants, like this Croton Mame, for instance. this croton mame for $10.98 is super root bound. You can see that it's got some very healthy roots. Look at that color on this croton. And I've said this before in many of my videos, but crotons are basically a plant that either you love them or you hate them. There's not really in between with crotons. I can see why some people aren't into crotons because they are a finicky plant. I haven't had the best luck growing them indoors. Now, growing them in full sun outdoors, I don't have any issues. This is a beautiful container planter with a mixed plant. I love these Tradescanthia. Again, this Tradescanthia, just the white cream variegation is absolutely stunning. And I love how they have this mixed with a hosta plant. Now, hostas really need to be in a lower light condition in like the shade. So I think that for Tradescanthia, though, they need to be in more bright indirect light in order for them not to actually get leggy. This is a nice and full Tradescanthia. I really love the look of that plant. Very easy to propagate as well. Like literally you can take a small cutting, stick it in some water. It will have roots within like 3 to 4 days. That's how vigorous it is. But you can see here, they've got just tons of encore azaleas. I love azaleas. Let me know in the comments if you actually grow azaleas. Now, azaleas have beautiful blooms. They typically just bloom in the spring. They need acidic type soil, so you have to amend the soil. But the way you can do that naturally is to actually put coffee grounds in the soil. It makes it more acidic. But as you can see here, this Lowe's is super full. It is one of my favorite Lowe's to go to because of such space that they have for the plants. They're constantly getting plants, and that's the thing about plants in big box stores. Sometimes I just really wonder like what happens to plants. Actually, I do know what happens to plants. A lot of these plants may not end up getting sold. They end up just declining in their health, and then they end up just getting clearance, like this clearance section, and then if they don't sell, they just go in the trash, which creates more trash. I am a little bit concerned about just the amount of plastic that is used for these plants. Like right there, if nobody buys that variegated peperomia teardrop, it's going to go in the trash, and that's just more plastic. So I have been sharing a lot more of my thoughts specifically in this video, just because I felt like since this video is going to be extra long, typically it's going to be a little bit longer than an hour, I can just kind of tell you some of my thoughts about things. And that's the thing about plants. I know we love plants, but did you realize that growing plants, or at least the houseplant community, there's just a lot of like the carbon footprint that we add because of all of the plastic that's used for these plants. That's why I like to look for planters that are a little bit more biodegradable, like things like terracotta plants. But you know, sometimes that's just inevitable. But you can see like right over here, this Lowe's has so many plants. Like I know I've repeated myself several times, but look at this. We've got a bunch of white roses here. I love roses. My care tips is if you water a rose from the top and their leaves stay wet and they're not in full sun, you'll get that yellowing on the leaves. That is not a good sign because that's some type of fungus disease, and it spreads very quickly to the bushes. So I would be weary about even buying roses that were near that particular rose bush because it may end up just getting that disease. I had a variegated rose garden. Variegated roses were so beautiful, but I had issues with that. I didn't realize that watering roses from the top, it was not a good thing. It ended up getting, fungus, and it was just not a good thing, and ended up getting like aphids and whatnot. And I don't want to discourage anybody from, growing roses, but I think if I had known in hindsight certain like precautions that I needed to take or plant care tips, I would have probably been able to keep my rose garden. But unfortunately, I was naive and didn't really know that, as much as roses are beautiful, they are a little bit more high maintenance than what somebody would think. Those were beautiful pink roses though. And for those that have roses, let me know in the comments like what your rose tips are, what kind of roses you like. I would like to grow roses again just because I would love to make rose tea. I love the smell of fragrant roses. And I also love this. So this is another prickly pear type cactus. Look at how cute this is. And I actually ended up getting one from my mother-in-law. We have it in the ground in our household, like just in the side of our house, and it's growing very well. That's the thing about these succulent plants. I do want to feature a lot of these succulent plants because I feel like, a lot of us may just be into the indoor house plants, but I did not realize that there is a whole vast world of succulents and succulent lovers. So for my plant foldies that love some succulents, please educate me about succulents, because I really don't know a lot about them and I am willing to learn. I want to learn. Right over here, we've got a Madagascar palm. This one is for $56.98 by Oasis Plant. Very prickly looking palm. It's an interesting looking palm, but it's not one that I would just run to add to my collection. And then right over here, we've got some more Crusala plants. This one is an interesting looking one right here. Let me see the plant ID if I can actually find it. It is, let's see what it is. It is a euphorbia, I think. Beautiful looking plant as well. And then you can see right here, this is a Crusala, some type of Crusala or jade plant. This one is really mature and established. Nice looking plant. It's another plant that you can easily propagate. Actually, succulent plants are very easy to propagate. You can either propagate them from just taking one of their leaves or stem cutting or separating them. So there's many ways to do so. And that's the reason why I'm kind of drawn to succulents, because like this one right over here, this is a really cool looking jade plant by Oasis Plants. This is only for $24.98. Look at that. That's a really cool looking jade plant. They do require full sun. So what that means, they need at least 6 to 8 hours to really do well. If you don't provide, you know, even aloe vera plants like this, I didn't realize that aloe vera plants had different types of varieties. They need full sun. Otherwise, if you don't provide them enough like bright light or full sun, it's going to really decline in health, especially for succulents. And that's just with any plant in general. Certain plants need more sun in order to photosynthesize, which is really getting themselves to feed. And then even right over here, this is another pink succulent that I am thinking about getting. This one's only for $9.98. This is a really cool looking succulent, and you can literally just chop the top part off, stick it on top of some soil, and it will actually propagate. But this is a really cool looking plant. I love how the pink is very neon and bright, and it's just a nice looking plant. Now, can I grow this plant long term? I'm not 100% sure. So that's another dilemma of mine. Whenever I go plant shopping, there are so many plants that interest me, but there are certain plants that will do well for me for like a month, and then all of a sudden they just really decline in health. So, plant care in general is you're constantly learning. You could be growing plants for decades and you will learn something new. Hopefully I've been able to like teach you guys a little bit about plant care and just some of my plant insights. I know that for those that have watched my videos, I have learned so much from y'all, and I really appreciate it. You can see here, look at this beautiful caladium here. I find caladiums beautiful. Some people find their colors very jarring, on the borderline tacky. I don't. I just love colors on plants. I think that they're really cool. It's really interesting because my plant aesthetic in terms of displaying plants, I like to have more minimalistic planters, but in terms of coloration, I kind of like the more flamboyant, in your face colors. So it's kind of an interesting dichotomy of just like the contrast of my aesthetics. And then you can even see right here, I am actually interested in houseplants. I definitely want to grow houseplants in my landscape. They make great companion plants for maybe a Japanese maple. I thought about growing them indoors, but based on some of the feedback I've been given by a lot of the plant foldies, they just really wouldn't do very well indoors. So I don't really want to, put a plant in a situation where it's just not going to do well. And over here, this is the flower of the hour. We always see petunia plants. Really love the look of petunia plant. That is another plant that you will see everywhere right now at a big box store. And it's one that is an easy to care for plant. It does require full sun. And then you can see right over here, beautiful begonia blooms. Didn't realize that begonias were really grown for flowers. I'm still shocked, actually. I talk about that and say that in every video, but I mean, look at that. Isn't that a lovely flower? I think so. And I have a couple of begonias that I'm growing outdoors just for the blooms. Beautiful hanging baskets. These are for $22.97, and it looks like they need to be in a lot of sun. And then look at these gerbera daisies by Monrova. Beautiful looking pink ones. I love that salmon look about it too. $6.98. Beautiful looking one. I love these daisies. It's one that I would actually see a lot at like grocery stores like Kroger or HEB, which is a local Texas grocery store. They're in the floral department. And, you know, when you think about buying plants, or actually not buying plants, buying flowers for somebody, like cut flowers, instead of buying cut flowers that will only last for a little while, why don't you buy like a gerbera daisy, or maybe a kalanchoe, or maybe an indoor azalea, you know, a plant that will actually live past, you know, its cycle. I think that would be really cool. But you can see over here, beautiful looking gerbera daisies. And I'm just gonna keep walking around here. There are quite a bit of people shopping. I just happen to get angles where there's not a lot of people. When I go plant shopping again, I try to avoid employees. Definitely want to avoid employees. And then I also want to avoid people from getting into my videos, just because I want to respect people's privacy. You know, it's a thing where like I would feel kind of awkward if somebody had like a camera pointed at me. So that's the reason why sometimes my angles get a little bit jittery, just because I try to avoid trying to get people in the frames. But you can see over here, these are Asian jasmine. These are ground covers. I like the variegated version. And you can see here, they've got some hanging baskets of Tradescantia Sabrina, or also known as Burgundy. This one is for $20.98 by Costa Farms, Exotic Angels. Look at how full it is, and it's not very leggy. Now, this particular Tradescantia can get leggy very quickly. Actually, most Tradescantia can be. And then you can see here, Vinca Vine. I really like the look of Vinca Vine. This is for $4.68. I actually bought a highly variegated Vinca Vine from Plants and Planters, which is another local plant nursery out in Richardson, Texas. One of my favorite plant nurseries to visit. If you haven't already, please definitely check out the Plants and Planters nursery tour. And everybody's favorite here, this is the Hedera Helix. Or the correct way to say it is Hedera Helix, which is the scientific form to say English ivy. I get it. Some people hate me saying Hedera Helix, but my thing about it is, as a content creator or somebody that has their own plant YouTube channel, I really want to stay authentic to myself. That's something that I've been saying for a while, even when I didn't have YouTube, and it's something that just gives me some type of unique form for my channel. So I hope you guys can bear with it. I hope that doesn't necessarily deter you from watching my plant content, but at the same time, that's one thing that I won't necessarily compromise, because it brings me joy. Some of my original plant foldies and subscribers really like it. So Hedera Helix is here to stay. Anyways, if you notice how it all of a sudden got very dark, here's the funny thing. So I was actually filming this video much earlier, but my battery died on my camera. So I had to go home and charge my camera. And now it's a little bit later, and so I'm back at this Lowe's again because I wanted to make sure that this video was a little bit longer than an hour, and there were many other plants to feature. So here I am, part 2 of this video. It is almost 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night, but yeah, about 8:30 as I'm filming this, and so I'm back at it. So you can see that I do put a lot of effort into my videos. I actually ended up going home, eating dinner, and coming back to this particular Lowe's. But anyways, it is for the love of plant blogging and plant shopping and showing you guys videos. So plant foldies, this is part 2. Here is a bunch of petunia hanging baskets right over here. I love this, and these are all by proven winners right here. Look at how full they are. I don't really grow a lot of hanging baskets. Even outdoors, I don't really have a lot, and definitely indoors because I don't want to like drill holes. And then you can see right here, caladiums. So caladiums are another plant that I always call the more colorful variety as compared to an alocasia. This one is for $7.98. Look at that red coloration with the green borders. Very beautiful looking caladium. I really like the look of it as well. And you know, caladiums are fairly easy to grow. They need to be more so in shade. If you give them full sun, they will burn, unless it's a specific caladium that has been hybridized to where it can take full sun. This one is also for $7.98. Look at how white the leaves are. It's a very ghostly white here. And caladiums typically are a little bit more challenging to grow indoors. I have yet to see a caladium actually go indoors and not go dormant. Caladiums are grown from bulbs, so by the winter time they end up just going dormant and dying back and then coming back when it gets hotter. Typically caladium bulbs start to really sprout in the summertime. They need hotter weather, but as you can see, these caladiums that are available right now, like these beautiful pink ones, love pink plants. Can I please get a like or a comment and let me know if you also love pink plants? But caladiums, they're just a little bit tricky to grow indoors. Although somebody in the chat has mentioned they've grown caladiums indoors. I may try to grow them indoors, but my space at my home I'm already overworked with a lot of plants. Actually, when I'm done editing this video, I'm going to take a bunch of plants and actually put them in my shower and just mass water them because they are all thirsty. I mean, imagine underwatering alocasias. That's not a good thing. Anyways, I am going to show you one of my favorite ground covers. This is a variegated ajuga. I'm actually growing this in a container, like a planter. I actually bought it for this price, $4.68, and it is doing very well for me. It's actually spread and I'm growing larger. I am hoping to be able to take this indoors and grow them in as a house plant. And that's the thing, right? All plants are not really grown at home as a house plant. They originally came out from from nature and were brought inside to be grown as a house plant. So it's just interesting when you think about plants. Their natural habitat obviously is to be outdoors. Some plants do better than others, and that's the reason why they are considered house plants. But you can see over here, these are New Guinea impatiens. What I like about New Guinea impatiens is obviously the foliage. I'm actually more interested in the foliage versus the blooms. Obviously the blooms bring a lot of a pop of color, but otherwise I just like the dark foliage. And you can see right here we've got a bunch of begonias again, and then just a sea of coleus plants. And I tell you that coleus plants are really a thing for me. I don't even know why, because I've never really been interested in coleus plants. This one is for $4.98, but I could literally go to a big box store, a local plant nursery. If there's a coleus that is not in my collection, I'm picking up one, maybe even two. And you can see they just come in so many different varieties. I have been able to find even more cool coleus plants. In Europe, they call them palette leaf plants, and they've been able to grow them in Europe indoors as a full-blown tree. What you can do is actually train your coleus plant to be more of a tree form because their stems actually can get woody as it becomes a little bit older. And I have propagated a ton of coleus plants either through cuttings or just cuttings, either cuttings that I put straight into water or just straight into soil. I'm even thinking about doing some plant giveaways and just sending people coleus plants just because I can mass produce them. I have literally taken so many cuttings from my coleus plants, and I have yet for any of my propagations to fail. Care tips for coleus plants: they definitely need to be more bright in direct light. Most of the time they need to be more in a shaded area. They are very thirsty plants. So as in you really want to water them daily. You don't want their soil to dry out completely for too long. Otherwise it will get very unhappy to the point where it'll start to crisp up. It'll start to droop. It's just not a good thing for a coleus plant to really dry out completely before watering. They really need a lot of water. Very, very thirsty plant, much thirsty than I have actually anticipated. And I'm surprised because I'm not really one to water plants just because my time to actually get to my plant chores is very limited. But when you grow coleus outside, I can literally take a hose and just hose them down and they're good to go. But you can see here, look at this one right here. I do like the coloration of it. It's got a red orange tone about it. And then you can see they just have different varieties. And that's the thing when you grow a coleus plant from seed. It is not guaranteed that you'll get specifically the seed you want. If you want a specific color, or say if you wanted this particular growth pattern or color, the only way to do that is literally through plant propagation, through cuttings, or even grafting. It is another whole ordeal. But it's just interesting that seedlings are not necessarily as close to the parent And you got to think with coleus plants, say if this hybridized with that orange plant, you never know what kind of seedlings you would get out of it. But I just love looking at all of the different colors of coleus. I also love the fact that I feel like they're an underrated plant in terms of like growing them indoors, but they are such an easy to care for plant. And that's really one of my goals when it comes to just our plant community, is to really influence people to picking up plants aside from that super rare monstera like mint or some type of like rare philodendron, and really taking the time to look for more cost-effective plants, inexpensive plants, plants that are not going to break your bank and create a hole in your wallet. Like coleus plants, let's do this. Like plant folies, let me know if you're gonna buy a coleus plant and grow it and share your thoughts. It would bring me so much joy to just know that I have, for some reason, been able to influence you to buy a coleus plant. I might actually feel like a legitimate plant influencer. By no means am I even a plant influencer. There are some really big plant influencers on YouTube. I have a very modest plant YouTube channel, although I do see it growing. So if you want to support me on getting this this channel to grow, if you haven't already, and I've been talking for more than an hour now, please, please, please hit that like button. Hit the like button for my video, because that will keep me going on making plant, content. The moment I feel like, plants are not fun anymore and this process is not fun, I might pull back just a little bit. Some people are concerned that I might end up actually burning out. At the moment, if you guys continue to show up for my live premieres, leave comments, and especially like my video, I can guarantee you will get a 1 hour plant shopping video daily. If that means I'm staying up till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning to edit a video because I have to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll do that. I've done that, and I don't have any qualms doing that because you guys are awesome. I just can't tell you enough that the amount of impact you guys had, plant folies have had for me personally, just to make me feel validated in terms of just knowing that I can show you guys plants and talk about plants and actually educate you guys about plants. It's just such a cool process. But I digress to go back to these plants right here. So I wanted to show you this beautiful sun patience. The key word is sun patience. These are for $10.98. Impatient flowers or impatient plants are plants that really need to be in shade, but this one has been hybridized to where it can be out in full sun. I love that, and I love the leaves. Like, can you imagine this in a landscape in full sun? That is absolutely stunning. I love that it has like a very neon color in the middle of the leaves, and then just that green border around it. I could actually skip the flowers and just have that as a plant, and I would be super happy. But notice how in the dark, or when it gets when it's in the evening, how the plants look a different color, and it just looks different. It looks like a totally different plant video, but I promise you, it was literally within a span of 2.5 hours. I regret that, my phone battery died to where I just couldn't finish the video, but I wanted to go back indoors to show you guys the plants, because I have been featuring a lot of like the outdoor plants. I will say that I am going to try to get more indoor houseplants, because I think that's really the bread and butter. I think that was the original draw for many people that have found my videos, is because of these indoor plants like this philodendron, brantianum, beautiful silver foliage. I like that, this is another live trends. I've noticed that they've got a bunch of these shippers full of plants. Philodendron brantianum, though, is a somewhat easy to care for plant. It does do better when you have higher humidity. Now, this is an easy to care for plant. This is a beautiful Epipremnum aureum jade pothos. So notice that the leaves don't really have variegation. This is just a green variety. This is the most vigorous pothos out of all the pothos that you'll run into. It is a pothos that I really love because it does have a natural shine. I've seen a lot of restaurants actually have a bunch of those trailing jade pothos. It can tolerate obviously lower light conditions because it has a lot of green in it, so it can still photosynthesize. And you can see right over here, beautiful Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. Notice how the jade pothos has that deep green. This one has that deep yellow. yellow, and it's absolutely stunning. And then they have another beautiful pothos here. This is an Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos. I love marble queen pothos. Look at that variegation. And all of these pothos are all for $18.97. They are in self-watering planters, and here is a beautiful, several beautiful dracaenas here. Dracaenas, underrated plant. I don't know why people are not talking about dracaenas, because it's got beautiful coloration. It's an easy to care for plant. I would think that every single household would have a dracaena, but alas, they don't. And I really hope that, you know, plant foldies, you guys will buy a dracaena. At least buy the Dracaena Hurricane. That's a really cool looking plant, you know? And then over here, we've got a Ficus elastica burgundy, really nice looking ficus. That one is also for $14.97. Beautiful Calathea rose picta, beautiful purple by Live Trends. I like the look of this particular plant. I have this particular plant growing in a bowl of water, and it is doing very well for me. And then we have this other Calathea, and actually, plant foldies, can you give me the plant ID for this particular Calathea? Look at how beautiful it is. There's a lot of different types of colors going around it. Again, this is for $14.97. By Costa Farms, not Costa Farms, sorry, Live Trends. You know, I say Costa Farms because Lowe's actually has so many Costa Farms plants. And then you can see right here, I'm not sure what this particular plant is. I'm thinking it might be a ficus plant. Let me know in the comments if you know the plant IDs. Give me a timestamp. That would be interesting. But this is also for $14.97. But Live Trends, this is the trend of the hour. All of these self-watering planters. You can see this is a red marantha right here. Love the texture of the red marantha. It's got like a velvety shine as well to it, plus all of that pattern on the leaves. That's really cool. Some plants really have beautiful patterns, and it just makes you surprised that Mother Nature can really give you some beautiful plants. But speaking of beautiful plants, I meant to get this all on film, but I'm glad that I came back to just show you some more of these plants. You can see right over here, we've got a bunch of beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids. Now, all of these orchids, again, are sourced out by Costa Farms. These are for $22.98. A lot of those Phalaenopsis orchids. And then we also have, what else do we have here? Another beautiful Enjoy pothos, or Epipremnum aureum Enjoy. That is the price right there. Not a bad price at all. And then this is just another pothos, or a plant that I really love. If you're to grow this on an actual moss pole or totem pole and to get the leaves large, it can really become a cheaper alternative to buying a Monstera albo, because the leaves just get as big as a Monstera, and it can fenestrate with that type of variegation. And over here, we've just got a simple Epipremnum aureum jade pothos again. Look at how shiny the leaves are. I make a DIY leaf spray that actually kills pests and actually leaf shine. So if you want to know the recipe, it's basically you get a standard water bottle. You want to get 2 tablespoons of cold pressed neem oil that you can actually buy at Amazon, 2 tablespoons of rubbing alcohol, 2 tablespoons of hydrogen peroxide. Fill it up with the water, the rest of it with water, and a drop of dishwasher soap. Shake, 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 spray it on your plant, and you'll get a natural shine and kill a bunch of plant pests. It's done very well for me. It's actually been more cost effective than buying insecticidal soap. Like for instance, if I were to buy this anthurium here from a big box store, I would use that leaf shine plant preventative DIY, just so you're not exposing your plants to even more plant pests. I had a situation with mealy bugs a little while back. Luckily that has really calmed down, but spider mites, for some reason, they just find their way in homes, and I just don't know how they do it. I guess the best way to keep spider mites is to really have a humid home, but I don't necessarily want like my wooden floors to start warping, and it's just not a good look. It's not definitely worth, over plants to kind of ruin some flooring. But I go back to this. Have you ever seen this beautiful tan Phalaenopsis orchids? Like, I have not really seen that, and it's really cool to find it at a big box store. I would assume that this particular orchid color is a little bit more uncommon. Correct me if I'm wrong, plant foldies, but I haven't really seen a lot of these type of coloration for Phalaenopsis orchids. Again, Phalaenopsis orchids can be found everywhere, big box stores, grocery stores, all of the stores that sell plants. And you can see here is another Nanthe plant. Love that green on green variegation. It is a little bit more of a finicky plant, but it is a plant that I like. I have a Stramanthe Triostar. It's a beautiful Stramanthe plant that's similar to a Nanthe. And then you can see here, they've got a shelf with some overflow of plants. So this is another Photonia plant. Love this one. And you can notice, do you see the blooms on this Photonia plant? Now, if you want your Photonia to actually push out more leaves versus blooms, you want to chop up the blooms. That's the thing about plants that you are growing indoors for the leaf. You don't want the blooms to come through. So even like for calatheas, actually calatheas can bloom too, but even for like coleus plants, like I had a couple of coleus plants that were pushing out blooms. It's not that time of the year for me to want to harvest seeds, because once a calathea, or not a calathea, I keep saying calathea, coleus plant starts to bloom, the growth of the plant, it really declines in terms of the leaves. So just definitely be mindful of that. And then you can see here another Epipremna aureum neon pothos. Really like this as well. This one is in a smaller hanging basket for $16.98. If I find a Manjula pothos, that is one pothos that I am in the hunt for, that I really want to buy. That one is just a really uncommon pothos, even for a big box store. And I really don't see them often at a local plant nursery. They're just a little bit harder to find. And you can see here, we've got some different types of soils, different types of planters. That's super cute. Now, my soil mixture, if you're interested in what I use for my plants, I buy a big bag of tree and shrub mix from Lowe, specifically at Lowe's. It's a big green bag, and it makes better grow orchid bark, a bunch of perlite, and it's just a really nice chunky mix. And then over here, I love looking at this pothos again. I mean, Marble Queen pothos, you can't get enough about Marble Queen pothos. This isn't a self-watering planter again. Marble Queen pothos, it is a little bit more of a slower grower because it is a little bit more highly variegated, but needless to say, it is a beautiful plant. It's a very elegant looking plant. Like, I can imagine a Marble Queen pothos in a home where most of the surfaces have like a very light granite counter, and like the walls are very much like a plain white or cream tone with some, like, I don't know, some very nice finishes, and just a beautiful Marble Queen pothos. Here we have, are you ready for it? A Hedera helix. This Hedera helix English ivy is a Pixie Dixie one. Really nice looking foliage right there. I haven't picked up a lot of Hedera helix just because I don't really want to scare away any more people. You know, some of the people that have just watched this video for the first time, I just like saying Hedera helix for some reason, and it has been an issue for certain viewers, and I do apologize. I'm actually not going to apologize for saying it that way. It's really just, you know, it's my plant channel, and I really like saying it. So hopefully that doesn't deter you from watching my videos, because I do spend a lot of time to really give you guys this plant content. But you know, to go back to this particular plant right here, I've got a beautiful variegated peperomia teardrop. This one is a little droopy, so it needs some water. It looks like a lot of these hanging baskets need some water. They're a little dehydrated. And then right over here, we've got a Hedera helix gold baby. And yes, I did say it correctly. Hedera helix gold baby versus saying Hedera helix. I had to say that. I like saying that. I'm teasing you guys. Hopefully you take my joke. I get the feedback, and I do appreciate it when people leave the feedback. As long as you can give me feedback in a respectful manner, totally get it. I definitely want to make sure that I'm listening to, you know, what content you want to see. You know, obviously I'm always going to stick to my what I want to go show on the video, but I always am open to suggestions. So if you want certain plants to be featured in this plant shopping videos, please leave that in the comments, because right now we are picking up another Hedera helix. Yep, it's the correct way to say it, Hedera helix, or English ivy. This one's a sterling English ivy. English ivy is very, very challenging plant to grow indoors. They are spider mite magnets. I would say give it bright light, water it once a week, and live it and have it next to a humidifier, and maybe that Hedera helix will grow for you. I might try it again. I've killed about 13 English ivies. I only have one left, and that's the Patina English ivy. So we'll see if I can keep that alive. And then over here, we've got another peperomia. This is a peperomia obtusifolia golden. Beautiful variegated one. Easy to care for plant. That one is for $5.98. And then this one right here is a Snow White waffle plant. This one is a very finicky plant as well. I thought I was able to would be able to grow it. I'm really drawn to its variegation. I love the pinks. I love the purples. I love the creams. That is for $5.98 by Costa Farms Exotic Angels. And then this is our classic Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil, $20.98 at this Lowe's. Love the look of this. This one actually has more green on it. And honestly, I'm not upset that it's got more green. Sometimes I find some super yellow ones. It might as well be a Philodendron Hederaceum Lemon Lime, but Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil, it's a classic plant. It's an easy to care for plant. And then right over here, we've got another Tradescantia plant right here. Love the purple stems. I love the purple undersides of the leaves. I love the fuzziness of the actual leaves as well. The only drawback about Tradescantia, and even this Tradescantia, is if you don't trim it back, it will get very leggy. But on the positive side, you can actually trim it back, take the cutting, stick it in water, and it will propagate very easily, and you have more free plants, or you can just plant it back into the mother plant. But this one is the baby bunnies. Tradescantia, really like that a lot. I see this often actually at Lowe's and just a lot of big box stores, and I wonder if people actually buy it. And then you can see right here, we've just got a bunch of other plants. We've got Dieffenbachia, we've got golden pothos, like this one right here. This one is a beautiful looking one as well. Very easy. I'm actually propagating a bunch. This one is not a bad price at all. And you can see that this one is not nearly as variegated for golden pothos. So you definitely want to give golden pothos a lot of bright indirect light as well. And here is a peperomia. Now this one is for $20.98. I actually am considering buying this peperomia today, because it's got a very full hanging basket full of beautiful variegation. And you can see here, it looks very healthy. I would assume this is another peperomia plant, or just a plant that could get very leggy, so you would just have to trim it back. But I'm not sure what the plant ID is for this one. So plant foldies, or anybody watching this video, please leave in the timestamps what that particular plant ID will be. I like to know that because right now it doesn't have a plant ID label, so I'm not 100% sure. But check this out. Wow. Philodendron tortums in a Costa Farms Exotic Angels, or Trending Tropicals. This one's for $19.84, and I'm probably going to buy myself a Philodendron tortum, because the ones that I saw at Walmart were heavily damaged. These ones look a little bit better, and I would think that as it establishes, it will become a little bit more full and just more vigorous. But this one right here actually is the one I'm going to buy, just because it's got two plants and it looks fairly healthy. It looks like the leaves have just unfurled. Now with Philodendron tortum, I've been told that it is a little bit more of a vigorous grower, so I'm excited to be able to grow this. I actually like Philodendron. I think they're easy to care for plants as well. Most of them have the same care tips, which is bright and direct light. Water them when they're about 70% dry, at least for the tortum. You don't want to overwater it. And if you can grow it up a totem pole, it will do better. But I am excited to see this. Now, some philodendron, when you look at Philodendron tortum at this stage, you're like, it looks like it's very, very delicate of a plant. I would say it is, but it is another plant that gives you a different texture, a different look for a philodendron. Typically I'm not into these really thin looking foliage. I prefer plants that are really round and bold and have big leaves and a lot of colors. But Philodendron tortum, it's definitely going to go home with me. I am going to go ahead and go over my plant budget. I've just been so terrible about it, but hey, it brings me joy, and hopefully you're in the same boat as me in terms of that. I'm not the only one, hopefully, that is. Otherwise, I feel slightly crazy for just going around talking about plants and buying plants every single day. Literally, I feel like I'm buying a plant every single day. But through your support, I've actually been able to raise some funds. So I really appreciate it again for always having you guys tune in to watch my videos and just to listen to me talk. I'm just really surprised that you want to listen to me talk, but I will talk, especially for this particular ZZ plant right here, $64.49. Not a bad plant at all. And you know, ZZ plants, you can really put them in very low light conditions and they will do okay. But I keep going back to this because if I see one philodendron tortum show up at a Lowe's, I can guarantee you there's going to be more philodendron tortum showing up at a Lowe's, just like that variegated string of hearts. So if you are a local Dallas-Fort Worth plant lover, plant foldie, and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell, because at least you'll know that the nurseries or plant shops that I'm showing you, or big box stores, you can shoot me a direct message on Instagram and I can tell you, but you'll stay up to date. And then for those that are going to visit Dallas at some point, check it out. I am hoping to do a PlantCon plant folding meetup for PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. They're going to have it on August 31st, September 1st, so Saturday and Sunday during Labor Day weekend. So I'm hoping that I can run into you guys. I am going to remain faceless on YouTube. I feel like it's just going to keep my life a little bit more simple, but I am always willing to make friends locally with local plant lovers. So shoot me a DM. I typically like to meet with people at Plant Keeper Incorporated. I met up with Steven. I met up with Luke at PlantCon, and that was really fun. So hopefully we can all meet up. And you can see here, look at that. That is a beautiful Ficus lyrata. Again, that one is for $15.98. And that's when you know you've done a lot of plant shopping, when you have a lot of these plant pricings memorized. Like trending tropicals, exotic angel plants, like this trending tropical plant right here. Most of the time, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart will sell them for $19.84. Love that it is in a self-watering planter. This particular philodendron tortum is going to go home with me. I'm super excited. When I take it home, I'm definitely going to spray it down with my neem oil spray, my DIY leaf shine pest preventative, cure all spray, and then kind of keep it quarantined from all of my other plants. But plant foldies, I know this one has been an extra long video. It gave me a little bit more time to just ramble on and talk about some of my plant insights, my plant thoughts, and my thoughts in general. You know, I utilize my plant shopping videos as almost like a personal blog to kind of let you know a little bit more about me as a person and what goes on with my day-to-day life. Hopefully you guys are getting to know me as much as I'm getting to know you guys during the live premiere chats. But as you can see here, what a gorgeous looking plant. Philodendron tortum was actually very expensive 3 to 4 years ago, and I just love the direction of plants. It's becoming more accessible to me and you, for those that don't necessarily want to spend a lot of money on plants. Again, I believe that plants make people happy. Hopefully you plant foldies enjoyed this video. I will see you on the next one tomorrow. Bye.